As the scene starts, we see a man getting stabbed in his heart by a woman. The woman has a cold look in her eyes, as if she doesn't feel any emotion in her heart while killing the man. The man coughs blood. He compliments the woman, saying, "She is still beautiful because he cannot possess her." With this, Deculaeon was killed, and the condition for the nullification of engagement was completed. The scenes that we saw earlier was our MC playing a game and clearing a stage. He is glad that the game is not crashing anymore. He says that he put in all this effort for this one guy named Deculaeon von Grahan Uklein, whose primary occupation is the head professor in the game. Our MC finally fixed the bug that kept happening in the nullification of engagement route. His name is Kim Woo-jin, and he is a game developer at console game development studio named Ru. In South Korea, known to be a wasteland when it came to console games, Ru appeared like a storm and pumped out hit games one after the other. Soon enough, it became a studio that everyone in the world knew about. The game that Kim Woo-jin is testing right now is an a game that Ru poured all of their investments and profits into until now. In other words, they're fucked if this game doesn't do well. The essence of this game is that its difficulty and story will change depending on the player's choices. Maybe that is why, but despite the fact that it is a single-player game, its highly advanced AI and named characters have been getting much attention from the community. On top of that, there are a surplus of classes such as Knight, Mage, Explorer, Demon, Demon Hunter, Noble, King, and more. Thanks to the refreshing variety of roles, the players have freedom to be whoever they wish in the game. To put it simply, if this game does well, they will be raking in money. Keeping all of these in mind, Kim Woo-jin again checks the character settings. Woo-jin says again that the reason he has been working overtime for the last few months is because of this character named Deculaeon von Grahan Uklein, the main character of the episode. Woo-jin finally managed to clear the bugs from Deculaeon's death. Deculaeon von Grahan Uklein, one of the intermediate bosses of this game and also a named villain. There were countless errors they had to fix because of all the routes possible with this character, and Woo-jin finally managed to kill him without anything going wrong. The reason for Deculaeon's death in this route is a stab wound by fiancee. As he is stretching his hands, a girl calls him from the back, asking how the test is going on. This person is the team leader of the development team Woo-jin is in. Her name is the Yuara. She's also Kim Woo-jin's ex-girlfriend. They had been together for 7 years. They felt happiness in all the time they spent together and all. Our MC is naturally lazy, but unlike him, she's a born workaholic. Her ambitions helped her become a better person. However, they broke up in the end. Woo-jin realizes that ultimately he couldn't change despite her efforts. 6 months after that, he heard she had someone new by her side. Yuara says that she heard that Woo-jin is struggling because of the bugs. Woo-jin replies by saying that he guesses all things are going well with her new man. Yuara says that the rumors spread so fast in this company. Well, she thinks it's going well. On the contrary, Woo-jin thinks that it doesn't feel good to hear it directly from her. He says that he wishes she gets married to that guy. She tells him to stop being so petty and keep it the bugs and informs him that he is gonna need to make some changes. Since some things were changed on the story's end, are you sure he's an intermediate boss? He seems really killable, though, Woo-jin asks. He thinks, that's both the game and Deculaeon's charm. The more the scenario progresses, the stronger Deculaeon becomes. The difficulty of the game depends on the player's choices, after all. Yuara asks whether Woo-jin knows that his character was modeled after him. In fact, both of them look alike. Woo-jin replies that he only met the artist twice. Yuara mentions that's why she kills Deculaeon as soon as she meets him in-game. Moreover, their personalities are similar too. Woo-jin thinks that Decalene's last words are, "You damned bitch." How are we similar? He wonders. Yuara then asks about the game experience. He replies that the game itself is fun, but he doesn't like that the fate of the studio's hanging on this game. Then, while looking at the window, he asks, "Isn't that your little boyfriend over there?" He says that since her boyfriend is waiting for her, she shouldn't keep him waiting for long, because it's already so late at night. Woo-jin tells her to go to him. Yuara tells him good luck. On the other hand, he tells her goodbye. After Sarah's departure, he says that he will test Decalene again. He blames the artist for being harsh. "You're telling me this guy is me?" He nags. He looks into Decalene's attributes, which total comprises 6 attributes. Woo-jin explains that, when Decalene was a child, he was called a magical genius and put on a pedestal. However, he was just like any other average mage, and because of his arrogance and background of nobility, he ended up with the worst personality: elitism, regular habits, competitiveness, noble etiquette, sensitivity, authority pretense and composure, and many more. Would Decaleene even be considered human? Woo-jin wonders. He thinks that Decaleene is supposed to get stronger as the scenario goes on, but he's already surrounded by those who hate him. Woo-jin decides to add attributes or personality traits to Decaleene, something that isn't too conspicuous. He makes Decaleene somewhat wealthy. He adds skills like comprehension, Midas touch, sharp eyesight, and lastly, Iron Man, which makes the body hard like iron. He ended up just adding all the ones that looked good. But now that he is done, he feels a bit ashamed, so he decides to revert Decaleene back to how he originally was before a problem occurs. Suddenly, a message appears, which startled Woo-jin for a second. He sees that the message is from the story writer. He asks whether he has to change something about the model because he can do it right now. The story writer previously said he was just taking a look. Woo-jin gets a little confused upon hearing it, so he asks the story writer whether he is referring to the finished model. The story writer laughs and tells him to look outside the window. Woo-jin immediately looks outside the window, and he witnesses something out of the ordinary. A hole in the sky appears, and in mere moments, Woo-jin's soul gets transferred to a body. He wonders, where is he and who is he? He entered someone else's consciousness. He listens to a person telling him that, "So child, do not forget, be wary of him always. Decaleene is no tame man. He may be hesitant now, but he can do something at any moment. He's just downplaying his own talents right now. He is a vile villain." Woo-jin wakes up hearing a girl yelling. She tells Decaleene to get up right now. "How long are you gonna sleep? How can you call yourself a person?" she asks. As Kim Woo-jin comes to his senses, he realizes that it's been a few days since he has possessed this body. He says that it still seems like a dream to him. The girl, who seems to be Decalen's sister, asks him for how long he is gonna stay cooped up because of some woman, or is he trying to shame the entire household? Woo-jin can't say anything and just ignores her. Lastly, before leaving the room, she tells him that she will leave the papers here, so he must move if he doesn't want to get fired. Kim Woo-jin concludes that after the day the strange-looking sky appeared, he woke up in this strange body, in a strange place. It's already been a week since then. Precisely. He is in the world of the game he made, while he was a developer at Rue. The somewhat familiar scenery has made that certain. He transmigrated as the worst character in the game who cannot escape death no matter what. A man fated to die. Certainly he became the villain Decaleene. At Euclane Manor, Decalene's bedroom. It's already been a week since Woo-jin possessed Decalene's body. He thought all of this was a dream. At first, but as a few passed by, this realistic feeling of life made me finally accept the truth. Could this be some kind of afterlife because I died from that lightning strike? He wonders. Well, whatever. One thing's for sure that he has now literally become the villain of the game he was once developing. Deculayan von Grahan Euclane. He's the middle boss in the game, no matter which route you take. He's the root of all problems, the enemy of everyone, and has caused pain for countless characters. Just why did he have to end up as a named villain? Wu Jin thinks. Another big issue is that Wu Jin has no idea which part of the story he is in at the moment. The only thing he knows is the total amount of mana he possesses. Even so, he doesn't know how fast it runs out. He says that we can't prepare for anything like this. He is not joking when he say that. Everyone, including himself, tested the game around 1,000 times during development, and this character only survived once. He's nothing but a villain created solely to die and serve his purpose as the middle boss. He looks at the document that the girl left. It's a document from the university he teaches as a professor. The girl we saw yelling at Deculayan previously is Yariel von Grahan Euclane. The woman who threw this bunch of paper while he was sleeping is Deculayan's half-sister and the one serving as the head of House Euclane in Deculayan's place. A thing to note is that both of them doesn't have a good relationship with each other. The woman that Yariel spoke of previously is probably Julie. Wu Jin says that he is assuming that Deculayan currently had something happen with his fiancée, Julie. He remembers Yariel saying that she is leaving him with these documents, so if he doesn't want to get fired from his fancy professor job, he should get up right now. From now on, Wu Jin has completely become Deculayan. So moving forward, he would be referred to as Deculayan. He says that he should go because the lecture is today. He has never given any lectures before, so he has to do something to gather more information. A primary survival side quest appears, which tells him to become necessary to the game. The words floating above his face as he woke up, and because of what Yariel said, that he feels like he should get moving. There are ways for Deculayan to die because of Yariel. Anyway, he thinks that store currency is quite important. One might worry about what to do in the lecture, but it's fine for him, since this body has the attribute comprehension. It is a unique grade skills, which has the ability to understand anything. It can be activated by consuming mana. Before he became Deculayan, he gave Deculayan this attribute, so that he'd gain a little empathy. As it's a unique grade attribute that only appears later in the game, there are probably hidden effects which are unknown for him now. These clothes and the bathroom feel unfamiliar, but he can make use of them without much thought. It feels like he has lived as Deculayan all his life. Usually he would feel out of place if he wears clothes like these, but right now they feel elegant and brings him comfort. This is another one of Deculayan's attributes, comprising intimidation, dignity, and aesthetic sense. It's as if it's telling him that this body is his now. As he is walking, he don't even feel like saying anything that would be considered rude. The formality that Kim Woo-jin once found rigid now feels natural. Although his main purpose is to gather information, this walk toward his first lecture feels nothing but natural because now he has become a noble superior member of the nobility, Kim Woo-jin. A completely regular man from South Korea, objectively tall and handsome, and to quote someone before he broke up with them, that's him. He decides not to lose himself. He realizes that he can't let his guard down even for once. As he gets inside this luxurious car, he thinks that he has been in such a nice car before, and just thinking about this nice car makes him remember some unpleasant memories of the past, which still pisses him off. He notices that a little guy is sitting next to him. The little guy nervously greets the professor while handing him some papers. "Hey, are you a wizard?" Deculayan asks. The little guy shockingly replies, saying that he is not a wizard, and that he has been in Deculayan's service for 3 years already. Deculayan says that he is just joking. He looks into the document. At first he thought it was a lecture material, But now, as he looks into it, it's just a script for him to read. It contains all the information needed for the lecture, from start to finish. He guesses there was no way Decalin prepared the material himself, considering how prideful and untalented he is. So he concludes that this little guy must have done all the work. Wu Jin can't even say the word good properly. He finds it extremely, but nevertheless, he says that the guy has done a good job. Even the driver gets shocked by seeing that Decalin is giving someone a compliment. Just how much of a terrible person am I? I feel sick from having complimented another person. Is this Decalin's true self? Wu Jin thinks. He felt this as he was leaving the manor, but it seems that Decalin's consciousness is invading his own. They arrive at the Imperial University, which is Decalin's workplace. Previously, he received a letter from the Imperial University, and a place, named Rotio Hall, was noted. He thinks that he has to go to the Rotio Hall to give the lecture. The students at the Rotio Hall, which is also the lecture hall, are waiting for their professor, Decalin. They say that they finally get to listen to head Professor Decalin's lecture. Some of them heard that Professor Decalin was the master of spell interpretation and was apparently a child prodigy. At that moment, among countless gossiping, Decalin enters, drawing everyone's attention. He introduces himself as Decalin von Grahan Uklein. He says that he has taken this class as the head professor of the university's magic tower, and for now, he will begin the lecture. The girls in the hall are mesmerized by Professor Decalin. They admire how handsome he is. They find Decalin smart and cool as a professor, as the girls are fawning over Decalin's beauty. There is one girl who is enraged. She crumbles up the paper in her hand to ease her anger as she is finally able to meet the enemy of her father. In her eyes, Decalin is nothing but a trash bastard. 3 years ago, her father killed himself. For many years, he conducted research on spell interpretation, but due to the shock he received when someone extorted his thesis out of him, he fell into complete despair and chose death. The person who stole that thesis was called the genius spell interpreter by the people. Yes, that trash person was none other than Decalin. However, she couldn't do anything, because after her father passed away, she lost everything. She, who was born as a noble, lost everything that was of value, including her family's house and territory, and she became an orphan with no home. So she made a pledge to take her revenge on that bastard. After she made that pledge, she was able to enter the Empire's Royal University, where Decalin was a professor with enormous effort. She thinks that even if the other students don't know, she does that Decalin's spell interpretation skill is all a bluff, stemming from her father's achievement, and with that, he ruined a family. She glares at Decalin, wanting to expose his lie and kill him right now. Alas, she needs to hold herself back, because in order to drag him down, she needs to prepare more for a perfect revenge. Meanwhile, Decalin tells the class to be silent, since he is about to begin the lecture. He introduces himself again, saying that he is the head professor of this magic tower and a monarch mage who controls elements. His name is Decalin, the professor teaching this special lecture. He says that those of you here today should already know that in magic there are 3 big attributes and 9 types. The attributes are the origins, the source of magic, elements, materials that make up objects. The types include summoning, spirits, destruction, support, enchantment, manipulation, ductility, bewitchment, and lastly, harmony. As he is giving the lecture, he thinks that this is so much easier than he thought it would be. It's his first ever lecture, and he is unfamiliar with the theory of magic. But even if he's just reading off a script written on paper, he is able to perfectly understand everything. Not only that, but Wu Jin thinks that Decalin's overpowering grace is making everyone focus, and the burdensome traits of interest and eye contact that come from elitism feel natural instead of overpowering to him. He thinks maybe the current Deculian possesses the traits of a good teacher. Further ahead in the lecture, he explains that the use of mana differs depending on where it is stored in the body. Normally, mages store mana in the head, which is the easiest place to imagine spells. Knights store there in the heart and emit it from the blood vessels all over their bodies. Lastly, there is the inner core, which mixes internal and external mana. It is the most universal place for mana storage. He says that the thing he wants to state is simple. He says that hard work is important, but if you're not talented, then you need to choose and focus. He thinks that focus is also something befitting of Deculian. To be honest, he doesn't have amazing talent. His current mana is at 3,375, where there's also a named mage whose primary mana is at 30,000. Wu Jin says that it's amusing how he's saying something which he should take note of the most. Then he notices the last part of the script. The last part of the script seems strange. Must I read this? He thinks. If it were the original Deculian, he wouldn't have read this sentence. Are there any questions? He asks. After waiting for seconds, he thinks thankfully that there might not be any questions. Suddenly, that girl speaks up. Professor Deculian! Last night, a mysterious spell was discovered in the dormitories. It's assumed to be an act of the devil, but what does Professor Deculian, the genius spell interpreter? Deculian stops her from saying any further. He asks the student whether she is really from the university's magic tower. The girl gets confused. Deculian explains if she is, then it should be second nature for her to state her name and affiliation first before asking the question. Furthermore, he says that he will not answer questions from a child who doesn't know how to follow basic etiquette. Then, as he starts walking near the exit, thinking that he has no choice right now but to walk away, since he just realized that comprehension consumes an enormous amount of mana. He understood the script on the lecture, but it used 1/300 mana, so he doesn't know how much mana will be consumed on a spell he has never seen before. Meanwhile, everyone laughs, seeing the girl getting humiliated. They taunt her, saying that it seems like she wanted to be noticed, but it didn't work. She shouts, telling the professor to wait. She says that right now, the magic tower is refusing to analyze it, saying it's a rumor. If it's the professor, then she thinks that he could figure out the type of magic used. She immediately realizes a spell, requesting the professor to interpret this spell. Just looking at the spell for interpretation almost took all of the remaining mana out of Deculian. The girl says that currently, the several remaining debutantes at the dormitories are analyzing this, but there has been no progress. She tells him, give them a hint. Immediately, Deculian replies that it's a barrier magic. He says that there's no need for any hints. Lastly, he says that it's a bewitchment-type barrier spell, and it seems like someone wanted to trap them before leaving. With this, the side quest, University Lecture, was completed, and Deculian's store point increases by 0.5 points. At the cafeteria of the University Magic Tower, the girl is eating her food, as if she hasn't eaten for a while, cursing Deculian. She was going to expose that Deculian's spell interpretation skill was a lie, with an unknown spell, but he made her out to be an idiot with no manners just because she didn't say her name. She thought she was going to die of embarrassment. According to her, it seems like he was flustered, so he said it was basically a bewitchment spell. Bewitching magic is very difficult magic, and most spells need parameters, but to call that bewitching magic without any parameters isn't common. She remembers that she just brought the unknown spell that was drawn on the dormitory's front door last night. Well, it was quite chaotic at first, but she thinks that its purpose was to increase the freshman's research skills. At that moment, a friend of hers comes from the back, calling her name Epherine. She says that it's about the magic spell on the dorm's front door yesterday. After assuming it's a real barrier and recomposing the spell, it turned out to right. She says it's so cool that they didn't have the nerve to ask that scary professor, but what Ephorine did was really brave. Ephorine asks where that was really a magic barrier. The girl replies, saying that it really is a magic barrier. Don't you think Deculion is truly amazing? There weren't any parameters, but how did he know that it was a bewitchment? She asks. Lastly, she thanks Ephorine, informing her that they are going to write up a report, adding her name in it. She thinks that Deculion was lucky and got it right. She just improved Deculion's reputation for nothing. Undertaking of Elemental Magic is the lecture that Deculion's teaching this semester. She recalls the saying, "Know your enemy and you'll win all your battles." She decides not waver if she is going to keep seeing that annoying guy's face from now on. She again crumbles up the paper, giving a deadly look, telling Deculion to just wait for her, since she is going to expose him soon. Deculion has completed the side quest and his store currency increased by half. He has gotten out of huge trouble. Earlier, when he looks at the skill, his comprehension was activated involuntarily. Just looking at the spell circle with lines tangled within each other was enough to take out all of the mana remaining inside him. He wasn't even able to understand what the spell was. Even if he had twice the mana he has right now, he wouldn't have been able to understand the principles of the spell. However, the situation ended without any trouble. As Deculion is walking in the hallway, he comes face to face with Julie. Kim Woo-jin has seen this face thousands of times through his monitor. Julie greets Deculion and asked, "How has he been?" Woo-jin didn't expect to see her here. She is Deculion's fiancée, and she is a named character that will eventually become the pinnacle of knighthood. I am not sure. Fine, let's say. Deculion says, this to Julie. Julie get a bit angry and says, "You've been fine?" Despite breaking that promise we made a week ago, Woo-jin is confused as he knows nothing about the promise she is talking about. He thinks that it would be better to avoid her, so he tells her that he don't recall anything like that and starts to walk away. Julie stops him and asks if he is going to run away like before. Woo-jin gets that she is Noigona. Let his pass easily. So he starts to think to an excuse that will work. He tells her that he seemed to have forgotten because of the fever he suffered from for a while. Before Woo-jin reincarnated into Deculion's body one night, Julie meets with Deculion and tells to promise her that if he is truthful to himself and confess his pretenses and arrogance to everyone, then she will be with him. Even the world crumbles. But after hearing that Deculion don't remember, she gets disappointed, and at the same time, she gets angry. She tells Deculion that she was wrong, that she trusted him. After that, Julie tells Deculion that he may go. Woo-jin don't know what's going on. He simply leaves without saying anything. Julie's engagement with Deculion was out of convenience. Deculion, a talented mage, and Julie, a talented knight. And with the union of these two, it can only mean good for both politics and bloodlines. The Euclanes and the Freydens, the noble bloodlines. There was no one to object to this marriage. Julie don't want to marry the person she don't love. However, she agreed to this marriage, as this will be good for her household. However, the two households realized that Deculion's talents never existed in the first place. Perhaps he didn't wish to acknowledge it, but he lied to the world by calling himself a genius of analyzing spells and became a professor. After some incident, he stopped putting forth any accomplishments. Despite that, the Euclanes and the Freydens tried to keep it quiet. Julie is sure it was because the two households did not wish to be the topic of gossip. They did not want their flaw exposed to the public. But Julie could not forgive this situation. She was okay with a loveless marriage, but she could not stand the lies. That is her conviction as a knight. However, when Julie tells Deculion to promise her that he will tell everyone the truth, Deculion agreed with her and says that he will do as she says. But as now, Deculion don't even remember the promise. She is heartbroken and in rage. Later, the scene shifts and we can see the Imperial University's magic tower. The Imperial University is the best university in this game, and the magic department is the top of all its departments. You could say that the Korean equivalent of the magic department is Seoul University's medical school, and the Magic Tower is Seoul National University Hospital, a large campus and a garden that's well cared for. It reminds one of an American college campus. Kim Woo-jin and his team members spent all those nights together trying to create this atmosphere. However, Woo-jin thinks that it would have been much nicer if he was in some other person's body experiencing this campus. As he is walking, he sensed that someone is rushing towards him. He uses his elbow to knock the person. The person is Deculane's assistant. The assistant falls on the ground and says, "Sorry." He also says that he was in a hurry to see his professor. Deculane thought that it was an ambush, but it turns out to be his assistant. He then asked if his name was Zorro. The assistant gets confused and says his name is Alan, not Zorro. Deculane gets shocked, and that he must have mistaken. After that, the two of them goes to Deculane's office. Alan gives him the list of sponsorships for new mages this year. The Magic Tower is similar to research facilities in the real world, so money is required for the development of magic. The professors of the Magic Tower sponsor the new mages they deem worthy. Deculane starts to look at the paper. He sees that the names are shining gold. Woo-jin assumes that it's because of Deculane's attributes. Wealthy magnate, type rare description. A born magnate and exceptional financier with an unrivaled intuition for profitable things. The more information is provided, the more accurate your intuition becomes. Another attribute is sharp eyesight. Description: the ability to visually perceive intuition, attributes, mana points, and similar elements. It is primarily used in conjunction with other traits rather than on its own. The shining gold names is due to the combination of wealthy magnate and sharp eyesight. Woo-jin assumes that the figure behind this name will bring money. He checked that only a couple of names shines golden, but among them one shines the brightest. Epherine Luna, a main named of the game. According to the developers in charge of modeling her, she also lost her father to Deculane. After seeing her name, Deculane noticed that nobody is support her. Deculane asked Alan about this. He tells him that everyone is wary that what Deculane will do if they support Luna. Luna has talent that has brought her to the Magic Tower, but she is the enemy of Deculane. To be specific, Deculane is Luna's enemy. Woo-jin is worried as if he let things play out like in the game he will meet the same ending. Attribute villain's fate description: a villain's fate. The whole world wishes for his death. However, what doesn't kill him makes him stronger. In the game, Deculane dies in countless ways. A sword to the heart, a wand to his head, poison in a wine glass, a bomb terrorism. Whatever the method might be, the fact that Deculane will die does not change. Now, if Woo-jin wants to live, he has to make a different choice. A choice that the original Deculane never would have made. Deculane then writes something on a paper and tells Alan to turn these in and borrow a few books he is going to write down right now before going home. As Alan leaves, Deculane thinks that he needs a lot of money in order to survive, as a lot of death roots can be overcome with money, and investing in a mage is one way to get money. However, that is not enough. There are countless named in this world who resent Deculane. They will try to kill him whenever they get the chance. So in order to survive, what he really needs is a way out. He needs to become stronger. However, Deculane's talents are just average. At this rate, Woo-jin can't properly respond to future threats. He can't survive the countless deaths that are yet to come. Though Woo-jin have a thing that's in his favor, it's Deculane attributes. Deculane can't control all four elements like he boasts, but he definitely has potential in manipulating the earth and fire elements, and the result of combining earth, fire, and metal leads to the formation of Deculane's other attribute, which is called the Midas touch. Midas Touch is unique grade skill. It consumes the user's mana to unlock the potential of a target. Therefore, Decoleon's talents in manipulating metal allows Wu Jin to wield the QI-controlled levitating blades. It sounds grand when you say QI-controlled levitating blades, but it's just simple telekinesis. However, it's definitely not mainstream in this world. Basic manipulation magic. What Wu Jin lack in power can be made up by manipulating the properties of the metal. But to realize all this, one first needs to learn manipulation. Wu Jin, aka Deculeon, is going to need to learn how to manipulate objects. Deculeon takes the basic manipulation magic book and put his hand on the book and uses his comprehension skill. All of his mana is sucked into the book. After that, the contents and spells of basic telekinesis starts to flood directly into Deculeon's head. He is completed exhausted, but he gets how to use telekinesis. Deculeon then uses his telekinesis on a pen and he successfully moves it freely. The whole basic telekinesis magic is printed in his memory, and now he can use telekinesis without a need of spell of cast it. Although this is only the basics, if it's only this much, Deculeon won't reach the level he wants, even with higher-ranking telekinesis. Deculeon is a bit worried and wonders what he should do. He thinks that he will cover his whole body with magic circle. In this world, magic circles get stronger the bigger they get. Then if he understand his body using comprehend, not just his brain, but his heart, his inner core, he will engrave magic circles all over his body to strengthen his telekinesis. Of course, there's a chance that his body gets overloaded or has side effects, but his body has the attribute called Iron Man, which allows his to withstand those side effects. Iron Man. Grade. Unique innate physical abilities and attributes. The potential of the body is of the highest caliber. That's why this is only possible for Deculeon to cover his entire body with magic circles in this world. Deculeon wants to give this idea a try. His current mana level is 800, and that should be enough to perform a small test. He then puts his hand on his chest and forces the mana to flow through his veins. As the mana flows, a frightful pain finds a pain that cannot be compared. One that feels like all the bones in his body are breaking and every muscle is torn. However, Deculeon won't waver. He won't even let out a groan, as that is the elegance required of a noble. Deculeon feel immense pain, but in the end he failed because he lacks mana. But he got something out of it. He now has a magic circles on his shoulder. At the pace he is going, it would take at least 2 weeks to have his whole body covered in magic circle. A month after Deculeon's seminar, the first day of the lecture, Deculeon is absent and he puts a notice board which says, "I, the Professor Deculeon, wish to test your abilities. Bring me any result from this area which is overflowing with elements." The children are confused and gossips about him. After that, Evie's student starts to search for something with elements in it. Luna is there, he is mad, so see how irresponsible Deculeon is. As she is cursing the professor at that time, a blonde girl pushes her and goes away. Luna is about to shout at her, but after seeing her face, she gets shocked. The girl who pushed her is Sylvia von Josephine Illade. Luna seems to know this girl. As she is about to say something, Sylvia just gives a look and leaves. Luna is shocked and wonders if Sylvia really don't recognize her. After that, Luna goes and starts to collect the element. But she can't remove Sylvia's thought from her head. 10 years ago, the Illades, fearing Luna's father and her potential, utilized their troops to surround their manor and threaten them. Luna is mad to see that Sylvia, who was there at that time, didn't even remember her, as she is thinking that she see that her mana is been sucked somewhere. As she looks around to see who is doing that, she see that Sylvia is the one who is sucking all the surroundings' mana. Luna gets up and goes to her and shouts, "Hey, what are you doing right now? Do you realize that you're taking everything that I've gathered?" Even after Luna's shouting, Sylvia ignores her. This made Luna furious. She says, "Hey, why are you pretending like you don't know me, Miss Sylvia?" "That's what I thought. There's no way you don't recognize me after threatening my family and forcing me to drop magic. Are you scared that I've come to steal all your spotlight?" After hearing this, Sylvia tells her that she don't know her. She further says that she only knows her father, that cocky former noble who died. This mad Luna crazy, and she starts to attack Sylvia. Sylvia sees Luna coming, so she uses her magic to defend herself. As the two of them clashes, a huge explosion occurs. The shockwave pushed the other students backwards. After the dust clears, we can see Luna gets through Sylvia's barrier, and she grabs the hair of Sylvia and shouts at her, saying to repeat what she just said. Luna is scolding Sylvia. At that time, a vortex is created beside them. The other students are scared to see this. Luna is also confused to see that this vortex is created in the place where her mana and Sylvia's mana clashed. The vortex starts to suck everything in it. The situation is getting worse as this explodes. The metal fragments are going to burst like bullets, and everyone here will die. In a few moments, the vortex explodes. Luna uses her magic to defend herself. But as she can't feel anything, she opens her eyes and sees Deculian in there, and he has stopped all the fragments. Everyone is mesmerized to see that all the fragments are frozen in place. Everyone is in wow. As they are students who are learning magic, they couldn't help but feel the beauty of magic. After the mesmerizing the scene, Deculian frowns and tells everyone to leave. He tells Luna and Sylvia, who has caused a commotion, to stay. Luna is a bit scared, as she thinks that she will be expelled. The scene shifts, and we can see Deculian and the chairwoman is sitting together. Professor of Spirit Studies Retlan and Professor of Support Studies Relin comes and greets them. Adeline Segalian. The chairwoman of the Magic Tower apologized to the professor for summoning them on such a short notice. Many other professors come and take their respected seats. They starts to talk who was the one who dared to attack the lady of the ill-aid house. The professors also praise Deculian that he called for this disciplinary meeting. Deculian gets that the result of this meeting is already confirmed. Everyone is in favor of Sylvia, as her ill-aid house is very influential. On the other hand, Luna, who is from a fallen noble family, has no power at all. Deculian wants to change the results of this meeting, as he can see the scarlet energy pouring out of Luna. This is only visible to Deculian because of his sharp eyesight, and this scarlet energy shows that villain's fate has manifested. If Deculian can't change the results, his death draws nearer. As the disciplinary meeting starts, Professor starts to scold Luna. They scold her and asked, why did she start the fight? Luna is disheartened. She replies that she can't say. She cries as Deculian is staring at her, and she can't say that Sylvia has insulted her father in front of her enemy. Hearing that Luna can't say the reason, the professor gets angry, and Professor Relin stands up and shouts, "What kind of jest are you pulling? Is it an inferiority complex of yours? You should have remembered the differences in your position and Sylvia's, to dare to overlook such a thing." After that, the professor asked Sylvia that happened. She replies that during the class she accidentally destroyed Luna's work, and after that they led on an argument. Listening this, the professor now fully blames Luna and says many bad things to her. For example, "You lowly thing with no name. How dare you? Can't manage your anger." The professor starts to pursue the chairwoman that they should expel her. Luna can't take it anymore, having to hear all sort of rough insults at a mere school disciplinary meeting, all scoldings aimed at her, and there's also nobody who will protect her. She cries and frowns at Deculian. The meeting is coming to an end. The chairwoman is ready to draw the conclusion, but as this meeting is called from Deculian, she asked for his opinion in this matter. As Deculian speaks, Luna think that done now, she will be expelled for sure. But a surprising turn of event occurs. Deculian asked Sylvia if she really has no fault in this matter. Deculian's question shocks everyone in the meeting. Professors asked him what he is saying. Deculian says to Sylvia that she definitely could have prevented that incident, yet she hasn't done so. Deculian then questioned about her abilities. He asked if her abilities is not that great that everyone thinks. Sylvia then apologized, saying that she didn't block the attack as she wants Luna to get into more trouble. Luna is shocked to see that Deculian is talking on her defense. Professor Relin tries to convince Deculian that it's not Sylvia's fault, but Deculian tells him that if he thinks about the context, it's actually his fault that he wasn't present at the class. Luna is confused to see that Deculian is even going against the professors to defend her. The chairwoman then stops everyone and says that children are supposed to grow while fighting. She then declares that no disciplinary action will be taken and tells Luna and Sylvia to head back. Luna can't understand the thing that Deculian saved her from expulsion. The Deculian she used to know would not do this. Rather, he would want her to be expelled. The Professor Relin also butters Deculian, saying that he also thinks the best for his students. As Deculian is about to leave, Luna stops him and says that she has a question. Luna wants to ask Deculian if he remembers her father who worked and suffered underneath him for his entire life before taking his own life. Deculian turns around and looks at Luna. He knows what Luna is about to ask. Luna wants to know if Deculian knows her father that died under him. She is also scared to ask him about this, as if Deculian remembers her family, he would rescind the verdict to save himself. But on the other hand, if he don't remember her father, that will make Luna more heartbroken. Deculian sees that Luna is in trouble. He tells her that she don't need to ask anything. He remembers it all. He also tells her not to waste her potential on things of the past. Saying this, he left. Luna wonders if Deculian helped her because he feels some sense of responsibility, or if he just helped her out of pity. However, she feels relief to know that Deculian still remembers her family, and that's enough for now. After this scene ended, Deculian overcomes a death variable and received 2 store currency. The scene shifts, and we can see Sylvia and his dad. Gilteon is on a car. Sylvia seems upset, so her father asked her what happened. As Sylvia is silent, he tells her not to worry about Luna. It is Ture that she is talented, by she missed her window. 10 years ago, on the day the aptitude exam for entering the academy was held, Sylvia met Luna for the first time. After running the mana test, the mage gets shocked to see that both of them have the qualities to be a archmage, pinnacle of the magic world, eternal. A being on a level even the emperor cannot touch. Those who rise to that level are called archmages and have their names engraved across the history of the continent. However, according to tradition, only 3 people may be archmages in one era. It does not matter what their type or specialty is. That is the unchanging rule of mages. At the time, aside from Demerkin's seat, 2 were empty. However, one of them was likely designated for Adeline, the Magic Tower's chairwoman. In other words, Sylvia, heir to the Illid family, and Luna, whose family was a collateral of their must compete for the remaining seat. Sylvia could tell without her father explaining it to her explicitly. That day, she knew the real reason the Illides stomped over Luna's family was solely because of her. It was in order to make her the Archmage instead of Ephorine Luna. Sylvia also wishes to become one, but Luna's words are bugging in her head. Her father tells her that she don't need to worry about that girl, but she must. He wary of Deculian, as he's not that simple of a man. He may be stumped now, but he was called a genius when he was young. He could soar high out of the blue for all they know. Sylvia already knew that Professor Deculian is talented, as he was the one who saw through her trap. At that moment, she undoubtedly made Luan's mana vanish. She set up a trap so that when it come into contact with Luna's mana, it would explode. The larger the incident, the more trouble she would have been in. But Deculian saw through her plan immediately, even though she already checked if there were any signs of magical observation happening within the room. Yet he still made them compromise. instead of saying that it was Sylvia's doing. His attitude was like, "I know everything, so go along with May." It was a threat she had no choice but to accept. She thought he was simply an arrogant man with talents that are slightly above average. But after this incident, she wonders what kind of man Deculian is. A few days later at Deculian's manor, we can see Deculian is getting ready. He tells his driver to go down and start the car. He is coming. After a while, he gets on his fancy car and starts to go on a social event. While he is sitting, he thinks that he made a correct choice of supporting Luna, as this removes a death variable and he also gains 2 store currency. He never would have expected the debutante who asked the question to be Luna, but she was most likely hostile toward Deculian then. However, Sylvia might hold a grudge against him over what happened, but he had no choice but to put out the fire on his shoe. That aside, regarding social events, he would prefer to avoid them. However, he can't let an opportunity to gain more store currency slip past him. Side quest: attend the Flower of the New Year event. Reward will be 0.5 store currency. Deculian needs at least 5 store currency to access the shop, so he should check out any named characters at the event. After a long drive, Deculian reached at the site of the event. As he enters the hall, the receptionist welcomes him. Deculian looks around and sees that many high-ranking nobles are here, and he is seeing many named people he is familiar with, especially Helm, whom he modeled himself. As he is roaming around, a noble sees and shouts his name and says that his child is taking his class. This garbs all the nobles' attention towards him. Everyone is eager to talk to him. At that moment, a name caught Deculian's attention. He gets desperate to look for this person named Ganesha. As getting acquainted with her, who will have an important turning point in the story among even adventurers, would be the greatest thing he could do today. Deculian. Search for Ganesha, but couldn't find her. Ganesha is in the 2nd floor. She stares at Deculian from up there. Ganesha is an adventurer and the 5th strongest character in the early story. After searching whole floor at last, Deculian found Ganesha, who is wearing an adventurer outfit. He walking quickly towards her, but Helm stops him. Helm von Garion Rewind, Imperial Exclusive Mage, rank, Monarch, 4th highest rank. He greets Deculian and asked him how his research is going. He also says that he is concerned about him as per the rumors he has heard. Deculian is confused. He asked what is he referring to. Nothing much. Just that your research hasn't progressed in the last 3 years, and that there are those doubting your ability, Helm says. Deculian gets that he is taunting him. This guy was Deculian's peer in university. They were once close, but after losing the head professor position to Deculian, he began to explicitly hold a grudge of jealousy against Deculian. Perhaps the original Deculian might be bothered, but these provocations seem pointless to me. It's not like what he's saying is wrong, since the rumors Helm is referring to are the truth. As Helm is lecturing him, Deculian sees that Ganesha is gone. He gets tensed as he has lost her after all the trouble he has gone through searching her. Deculian gets mad, gets closer to Helm and tells him to shut up his rotten mouth. Hearing this, Helm gets confused. Deculian leaves and starts to find Ganesha, as if he can't get acquainted with her in this party. His plan of coming here will be ruined. After a while, Deculian comes to the balcony and gets surprised to see Ganesha is there. Ganesha asked him if he was looking for her. Deculian is a bit confused as he can't get if Deculian and Ganesha were already acquainted. Deculian then tells her that he simply got lost. Ganesha laughs and tells him to stop joking as she already knows he was looking for her, since he has something to say. She also says sorry to Deculian about the mission back then. She also says that she gave back the advance and the cancellation fee, so can he let it go just this once? Listening, this Wu Jin gets that Ganesha and Deculian are already acquainted. Ganesha again apologizes for not being able to bring a child talented in magic like he said. She says that she couldn't bring the child as she got attached to them. Woo Jin was wondering what she was talking about, but it seems Dekulian was going to repeat it. His attempt to compensate for his own shortcomings by using a talented child. Ganesha then asked Dekulian that until when he will keep living like that. Before Woo Jin possessed Dekulian's body, he accepted the sweet talk of those who were of no help, destroyed the trust around him, and hurt many for his own fame. Dekulian lines on the railing and tells Ganesha that he is going to live differently now. Ganesha gets confused and says that she didn't expect this reaction, as she thought that he is trying to kill her. Woo Jin gets that Dekulian was digging his own grave by trying to kill Ganesha, who has the top-class fighting ability at this point. Woo Jin don't know about the original Dekulian, but Ganesha is a named who could kill someone with a single strand of her hair. Her attributes are invincible body and master of all martial arts. She is a fighter and adventurer who has reached the physical peak because Woo Jin possessed him. Dekulian probably just couldn't send an assassin after Ganesha. If he had, she would have already died. It's a bit different from what Woo Jin thought, but he has already accomplished his goal for this social gathering. Making connections. There's no further reason to stay here. Dekulian then tells Ganesha that he is going to head back, so don't worry needlessly. Ganesha then asked him if there is not going to be any assassination or death. Dekulian says that that's classless and leaves without looking back. As he walks away, a notification appears, which says that he has escaped a death variable and gets 1 store currency. Dekulian gets sacred to see that a simple conversation would have killed him. He gets that he can't be at ease anywhere here. The scene shifts, and we can see Rayleigh, who is Julie's relative and an adventurer debutante, 12th highest rank. Julie is also at the event. She is sad, as she didn't want to come here. Rayleigh is talking to Julie. She asked her that how is her relation going to with Dekulian. Julie's face turns grim. She asked Rayleigh what she means. Rayleigh says that she has heard rumors and is worried about her. Julie recalls the past event and says that it's not going well. As she says this, Dekulian comes there. He gives a look at her and starts to leave. Everyone is shocked to see that Dekulian, who used to love social meeting, is leaving so early. Since Dekulian left the social gathering earlier than usual that day, there were talks that he did so because of disharmony with Julie, but there was no way Kim Woo Jin would know this. The event ended, and the side quest is complete. Dekulian gets 0.5 store currency, and his current store currency is 4.5. 1 week has passed since then. Dekulian attended the social event, Flower of the New Year. During that time, other than his daily memorization and basic telekinesis training, he felt that his stamina was lacking. So he began working out. The reason being that he almost died after doing something crazy. A few days ago, he desired greater strength after meeting Ganesha the other day. So he engraved fire control in addition to his existing telekinesis engravement to strengthen his metal manipulation. If he were a normal mage, he would have died. He guesses that he did manage to withstand it because of the Iron Man attribute. The purpose of this was an upgrade by way of implanting the core of magic inside telekinesis. This method would reduce the amount of time needed to learn magic, but in exchange, it's incredibly dangerous. After realizing the intense strain it would put on his body, he decided that he needs to train his body. As a result, he developed a morning routine. Presently, it's already his time to go to work. At his office, he is informed that a statement has arrived from the Magic Tower, and the sender is the Magic Tower Qualification of Professor Committee. The letter goes like these. We are informing you of an audit hearing scheduled in 6 months regarding the advancements in the research you are currently doing, Head Professor Dekulian. Until then, we would like you to please prepare the relevant documents. Woo Jin thinks that if an audit hearing is being held, then it likely means that Dekulian's research has been at a standstill long before he possessed his body. he perceives that this is an unfavorable situation for him. The Deculian inside the game was always a professor. It may be that a precondition of the quest is being a professor, so the moment he loses this title, it would be equivalent to losing all hope of returning. As such, he will have to find something or anything in Deculian's laboratory. Upon entering the laboratory, he sees that it's in a total mess. It looks like nobody's been in here for a long time. If Deculian had come and gone, there's no way the laboratory would be this much of a mess. Then, he notices the heap of trash in particular, which looks unnatural to him. Is it hiding something? He thinks. He doesn't know who's to blame, but there would be no better way to stop Deculian. He finds it, as a relief that he managed to learn telekinetic manipulation. While seeing the book, it looks like the researcher encrypted all of his research results so they wouldn't be stolen. But it's useless to Deculian, since he now has comprehension skill. He uses the skill on the research notebook. He says that this golden light is blindingly bright, and it seems that person's research was simply incredible. What he can see through the combined usage of wealthy magnate and sharp eyesight is only this brilliant light. However, he notices that this research is incomplete. It's torn and there are empty spots. Even the logic in this part is completely incorrect. Despite that, this research was great enough for wealthy magnate to react. Then, he sees the childhood photo of Epherine Luna with her father whose face can't be seen. Wu Jin perceives that it seems that while Epherine's father was working as Deculian's researcher, he made a desperate attempt to hide this. And it's clear that because of Deculian, Epherine has lived a brutal life. He says that he will complete this research using comprehension, and if he manages to complete this research paper that way, he will add Epherine Luna's name on this paper as a co-author. But of course he needs accomplishments as well, so he can't put only her name on it. The scene changes to the university on-campus cafe named Light and Coffee. Julia, a commer, speaks up. She says that they, the commoners, should stick together. There are only 30 commoners in this class, so if they don't work together at least, they'll end up suffering for it one day. She asks Luna whether she agrees to the thing being said. Luna thinks that she also used to be a noble, though. Well, for now it's fine, and she can forget about fulfilling a noble's duty. She doesn't even have a residence or land, so what kind of noble she is, she wonders. Julia insists Luna to be with them, and another girl, on behalf of everybody there, makes Luna the representative of the commoners, since she was a victim of Sylvia, too. Another person brings up the fact that if they want to be in a club, they will need permission from a supervising professor, and he doesn't think the professors would like them meeting together like this. Julia says that it's the biggest they need to overcome. Then, what about Professor Raylan? She asks. A boy replies that Professor Raylan is famous for sucking up to that fat noble. They speak about Professor Carmel, whose name can't be mentioned here because that professor immediately turns away at the sight of commoners. At that moment, a person speaks of Professor Deculian, although knowing that he will also not give the sign. Meanwhile, Luna is shamelessly looking at the strawberry with a drooling face. She wonders when they are going to eat it. Julia jumps off upon hearing Deculian's name. She wants Luna to ask Professor Deculian on behalf of all of them. Luna's face grew pale while hearing the suggestion. A boy says that if they think about it, Deculian is pretty fair because he looks down on everyone, nobles and commoners alike. Julia says that since Luna was saved by the professor, that means maybe she has caught his eyes. That's why she suggests that Luna should be the one asking for the signature. Luan replies that it's nothing like that, and she doesn't see the professor as great as a person. She doesn't like that the mood is shifting in such a weird way since she doesn't want to have to get involved with Deculian. She decides to run away while telling Julia that she can't do it. She says that if she does it, it'll just end up having the opposite effect. Julia successfully catches Luna, but she suddenly stops, looking ahead as if she has seen a ghost. Luna looks forward and sees that it's Professor Decoulaine telling her to move. After bumping into Decoulaine, she notices that her friend Julia has already hid herself. She sees that the professor is walking forward. She gathers up all the courage to tell Decoulaine that she wants to make a club and she needs his signature for it. Moreover, she says that she won't anu him at all. She was just worried since Professor doesn't seem to approve of clubs with peasants. She kindly asks for the signature, while thinking that she doesn't want to get involved with Decoulaine, but Julia is right, saying that it's a given that the other professors won't cooperate with them, so rather than be bothered all the time by others on this matter, they decided to give this a try. Decoulaine takes the paper and signs it, telling her to send the details of the club later in his office. He gives the paper to Luna after signing it. Luna accepts it, while making a confused countenance. She is surprised to see that Professor Decoulaine really signed it. He just signed it? The Decoulaine? She finds it unfathomable. Julia comes running, appreciating Luna for her bravery again. She also didn't expect Decoulaine to sign it, but why? Just like back at the Disciplinary Committee. Why is he being nice to me? Luna thinks. After some time, Decoulaine starts today's lecture by saying that today's lesson is on the understanding of pure elements. As they already know, elements are the building basis of all magic. However, there are still many mages who do not understand the differences between categorical magic and pure elements. Meanwhile, inside the classroom, Luna is still thinking about the event that happened earlier today. She wonders whether Decoulaine is acting nice to her because of the guilt or sympathy, perhaps. She blames him by saying that he drove her father to death. Even if he's nice to her now, it seems only fake to her. She thinks that if Decoulaine truly feels that he did wrong, then he should reveal his true self to the world and repent. Julia speaks up, asking, is everything okay with Luna? Since she has that terrible look on her face. She tells Luna not to concern herself over those guys who sat beside her talking nonsense. She says that they don't know how to do anything other than running their mouths. Luna wonders what Julia is talking about, so she looks beside her. She sees that the nobles are cursing her, telling her gross. She laughs in her mind, thinking that she really made herself a common enemy of the nobles after that incident, despite the fact that she is a noble herself. She tells Julia that she is doing just fine, and since those guys are always like that, they should just focus on the lecture. Luna also notices that Decoulaine's lectures are different that she heard of. Further ahead in the lecture, Decoulaine says that the magic circles they have used until now also holds a reasoning in each stroke. This ignition spell can change color just by adding 2 strokes to the circle. That is because these 2 strokes decide the color of the flames. He is not just saying it, he is also simultaneously doing the practical. He announces that today they are going to learn about flowing fire, Ephrine. Luna's thoughts were not incorrect. Originally, Decoulaine's lectures were just a way for him to boast using his position as a professor. The lectures now from Kim Woojin were beautiful reenactments using mana, creative explanations of elite understanding. This came as a shock to all the debutantes who were in the lecture, as well as to Sylvia, who had lost the joy of learning because of her genius talents. Decoulaine says, as they all know, that this magic circle he is showing now is for summoning water. However, if they combine this with the fire magic circle, it becomes like this, flowing fire, a fire flowing like water. Everyone attending the lecture was astonished, and Sylvia didn't even expect that Decoulaine's lectures were so theoretical. Sylvia explains that most mages who are called geniuses use their intuition to cast spells, so theory to them is more like a mold. If all mages prioritized theory, all magic would be the same in a mold. It makes sense. If someone focuses too much on theory, there is not enough time to learn magic. Trying to understand all magic through theory is very inefficient and gets in the way of training. This is the paradox of magic. In order to become an elite, one should have good intuition, but elites cannot explain intuition. According to her, for someone like Deculaean, whose genius is being questioned by the public at the moment, to teach such a theory-focused lesson, it's practically impossible. After the lecture ended at the Magic Tower dorm, Luna says the lecture that was completely different from the rumors. She has never focused so hard on a lecture before. She is about to enter her room, but then she sees that the noble girl's stupid pranks haven't stopped yet, and it's gotten worse ever since that happening with Sylvia. Then she notices a sponsorship certificate. She smiles, saying that she almost fell for this one because for her, there is no way this is real. No one would sponsor her when she is hated by both the Iliad household and Deculaean. She says that this is good, actually, since she can report this for being false and get a reward. After some moment, she comes out of the magical administration office, trembling and sweating. Previously, inside the office, she got to know that the seal in the document isn't fake. Instead, it is real. She felt for the very first time, after her father passed away, she pinches herself, trying to wake up if it was a dream. Then she looks around to see whether anyone has seen her, acting mad like this. After some time, she goes inside her room and starts packing an emergency suitcase in case anything happens to her. She wonders what will happen if people realize that she has 100,000 elne, which is equal to 100 million won. She realizes that she shouldn't have gone to the magical administration office because that staff member had a weird look, too. She says that maybe that manager is also after her money. Then she hurts her head, bumping into the table due to anxiety of getting so much money. It hurts, but amidst all, she is genuinely happy that he hasn't woken up from the dream. She says that finally, someone has noticed her talents, while crying tears of joy. Lastly, she says that since the world is still kind, she should get it together and try a bit harder. At the Euclane manor named Euclane Hadakane, the butler informs Yariel that Deculaean is headed to the auction of Schatzengewel, and he should have reached there by now. Yariel shouts, saying that her brother blew 10 million eln just last year. What kind of disaster is he planning to cause this year, she wonders. She states that she won't forgive him if he causes more problems. Meanwhile, Deculaean is walking in the hallway of the city of Luton Schatzengewel auction. He thinks he will finally be able to buy something he has been searching for. During his first time using telekinesis as his main magic, he realized he needed some metal to compensate for his lack of talent. The cherished item he has on him right now is made of wood steel, but this is just a temporary patch. What he really needs will be available in the auction today. He enters the VIP waiting room, but he didn't expect to meet Julie here. Upon seeing Deculaean, Julie stands and comes near him. She has a cold look in her eyes. She says that she hopes he has been well. She says that she heard that he sent 2 young mages to the disciplinary committee this time. Deculaean replies, saying that it's old news and what about it. He asks Julie whether she will attempt to blame that on him as well. Julie says that those kids are newly appointed debutantes, so he shouldn't intend to crush the dreams of rookies with despair, or else his sins will come back to haunt him one day. She tells him not to make the same mistakes he did in the past. Lastly, she says that this is the last piece of advice she can offer to him. Deculaean perceives that by saying, "the last advice," she intends to cut off the relationship she's had with Deculaean, and these are Julie's final words for him. This is actually good for Wu Jin, since he feels the same as well. No matter how beautiful she is, he doesn't want to marry, something he hasn't even done in his real life. Over something so fickle and around her, there are too many death variables, including herself. If he messes up, he could even die on the day of their marriage, so it's better to break this relationship now. Another thought comes into his mind. The Julie he knows isn't the type of person to attend an auction. So why is she here, he thinks. He asks, did she come all the way to the auction to tell him that? Immediately, she gets flustered. She blabbers, saying that he is so full of himself. There's no way she would come to just look for him. She just came here because she needed something, and she mean it. She shouts that she is really looking for something. Deculain tells her to calm down. He says that he can understand if she says it just once. She doesn't need to repeat it. She pouts for a moment, and then starts to leave. For the first time, Wu Jin finds her countenance rather cute, because he hasn't seen her making her face like that before. In the next moment, he is shocked. Wait. What's this emotion that I'm feeling? He wonders, because he was just thinking of how dangerous it would be to be around her. He perceives that maybe he has being infected with Deculain's emotions. Although he has been careful of keeping his personality from being corrupted, he thinks that maybe he is overthinking things since it's not as if his heart begins to race when he sees Julie. Then, we get an announcement that the auction will soon begin. The auction starts with the presentation of the first item, vase from the east. The auctioneer tells the guests to be sure to witness its elegant curves, made by an artisan who's in the far east. Deculain, due to his skill, comprehension the light, which is something he saw when he checked Ephraim's papers. Its wealthy magnate, moreover, he notices that the light just gets stronger and stronger. If that's the case, he should take this, no matter what. In the meantime, the bidding is going on. Guest number 773 starts the bid with 700,000 elni. The price is going higher and higher. Lastly, guest number 777, which is Deculain, claims the vase with 2,500,000 elni. The vase never lost its light despite climbing so high in price. That means the vase has a higher value than that. He thinks that he has enough in the bank, so it might not be bad to invest the rest. His current balance is 205,238.39 LNA. He starts to buy things without mercy. The auctioneer makes many announcements that the Rooferin's ring has been sold to guest 777 for 3 million LNA. Lucho's scissors has been sold for 2.1 million LNA to guest 7077. Ancient rune necklace has also been sold for 4.3 million elm to guest 777, and this time as well, guest 777 takes an item for 5.5 million elm. The other guest didn't get the chance to buy things from him, and some even recognized him as the professor. Julie, on the other hand, thinks that Deculain is doing these things for getting attention even in a place like this, like a pathetic man. She thinks that he's too different from her. She can't believe he would waste so much money for a moment of vanity. She doesn't understand why he doesn't appreciate the beauty of humility and modesty. Well, she decides to let him be like himself. She has come here just to obtain winter's fire. Next up, the auctioneers present the final item of today's auction. He says that many search for it, but it's an item that's near impossible to find. It's an ore used to forge countless fine swords in the history of the Empire. The magic of nature, winter's fire. It's none other than the snowflare stone. It's one of the 10 rarest metals in this world. It's typically used to forge swords or other weapons. Like its name, it's a rare and paradoxical item that holds both heat and cold energies. The only items superior to forged swords are legendary items like dragon bones. In other words, people will die to get their hands on it. Deculain thinks that the snowflare stone is effectively the best ingredient he can get. Julie also wants this to hers. The bidding starts. Directly from 10 million, it rises up to 25 million. Guest number 1089, which is Julie, she bids 30 million. There are no other bidders. The item is about to go in her hands. She smiles, thinking that she got this. But at that moment, guest number 777 bids 31 million elni. She has heard the same number get called so many times today that she can't ignore what he is doing. She angrily thinks, why is Deculain doing this? Both of them, again, try to take the snowflare by increasing the bidding. Meanwhile, the other guest sitting near Deculane starts to gossip. He's trying to purchase the snowflare stone that's used to craft swords. It must be so he can gift it to his fiancée, right? One of the guests asks. The guest deliberately speaks up in front of Deculane, saying if Deculane wishes to gift it to her, he could have just allowed her to buy it, but he is doing this instead, must means that he definitely loves her deeply. Deculane, on the other hand, just realized that he has been competing with Julie. He guesses that the snowflare stone is something Julie would be interested in as well. If he takes this, she might seriously hold a grudge against him, but he needs it too. This is the first time it's been available in 3 years, and who knows when it'll be available again. He might be at risk, but for his cherished item, he must obtain the snowflare stone. After bidding for a moment, lastly, Deculane claims the snowflare stone with 42 million ilni. Everyone says that this auction has to be the most competitive auction ever. Meanwhile, Julie is hearing everything while sitting on her chair. She is enraged, thinking that once again they are repeating the last year. She never wanted something like that. Last year, she remembers that the day of their engagement was the worst day of her life. Deculane said that he can give this all to her if she wants, even more if she would like. He said that he can do anything for her. At that moment, Julie realized what Deculane meant by those words. This should entice you to get engaged to me. This is how great I am. That's what he was saying to her looked like. In front of all the riches he showed her, she only felt humiliation. She says that he already knows what it is that she really wants from him, but he wouldn't give in. So she left that room and ruined her own engagement. However, that wasn't the end. Many unwanted rumors started appearing. People said that the Julie they know was so dignified, but in the end, she fell for Deculane. They heard that she was promised a captain knight position in Euclide's knight order in return. They even said that she begged for it. It was obvious who spread the rumors that sullied her image. Does he think I'll return to him if he does something like this? She thought angrily. She calls Deculane a fool for acting like this. He is someone whom she can't love no matter how hard she tries. As she is about to stand from her chair, she sees that Deculane is already in front of her. Did you also want the snowflare stone? He asks. Julie is thinking that she can't bear this humiliation anymore and is about to speak up, but before that, Deculane states that he is sorry. That shocked Julie for a moment, and in the meantime, Deculane leaves the area. This incident got her into thinking for what Deculane is sorry for winning the snowflare perhaps, but the Deculane she knows would never apologize. She gets out of the auction, and she is greeted by a lady named Josephine, who is the eldest daughter of the Frieden household. In other words, Julie's sister, who tells her to get in. Inside the car, Deculane assumes that Julie wanted to keep the snowflare stone for herself. She's probably mad that he bought it instead, but it's unexpected that the death variable didn't appear. He enters his mansion, thinking how much of a scumbag was Deculane for her to murder him. Then, he notices that servants' expressions are rather terrified and worried than calm. So, he asked whether something happened while he was out. They inform him that Miss Yariel is here. He walks near her. Yariel speaks up that the money he used was supposed to pay for the mines. Is this what you took it for? She asks. He thinks that no wonder her personal account had so much money. He realizes that he didn't pay enough attention, but he tells her not to worry, since he bought something that will bring in profits. Yariel shouts out of frustration, saying that he is treating her like a garbage can. Do you think I meant to clean up after the messes you make? She asks while crying painfully. Deculane senses that the situation is getting worse for him. She tells him that they are already not doing too well financially, and the workers here and she are all working so hard to try and keep them afloat. But amidst of all, he just went ahead and spent all of that money without thinking for a second. Just what kind of piece of shit do you have to be to gamble with the money that belongs to the estate? She asks angrily. The villain's fate is being activated, but Decoline sees the golden light through her red aura, which shows wealthy magnate is being activated too. The meaning of that is simple. If he doesn't get through this situation, he will die, but if I does get out of it, it'll bring in a lot of money. He knows the answer to this problem. He tells her again not to worry. Yariel says that she isn't worried, she just doesn't like to work hard to make up for what he has done. She says that she doesn't want to do it. She states that she even gave up on university and didn't even get to date because of Decoline. Decoline replies that she doesn't need to do it. After hearing it, she again burst out saying that if she doesn't do it, who will? Since Decoline has done nothing but waste their money ever since their parents passed away, and now he has used up 150 million elni in one day. Decoline says that he will give her the household head position. Yariel gets puzzled. She asks what he is talking about. Decoline again says that he said he will give her sister, Yariel, the household head position. After understanding it, she gets surprised and tells him to cut the bullshit. Decoline says that that's no way for a noble to talk, especially a household head. She tells him not to lie, and he replies that he doesn't lie. He says that he can swear if she doesn't trust him. Swear? You mean like the mage's oath? The one that kills you if you break it? Are you serious? Yariel asks. He replies, saying yes. All this, all of a sudden, doesn't make any sense to her, so she asks whether he has hid his head somewhere. Decoline tells her that she doesn't have to believe him if she doesn't want to. Yariel says that she is gonna kill him if he goes back on his word. Decoline asks whether does she intends on leaving right away. She replies, saying, of course, because of somebody here who wasted all their money at the auction, so she has to do something about it. With this, he overcame another death variable, and his store currency increases by 2. For him, it feels like a storm has passed by. He is relieved that at least nothing bad happened. He thinks that there's no problem in handing over the position to her, and if he keeps changing things one by one like this, he might be able to escape this cursed fate of his. At that moment, Ganesha appears out of nowhere. She says that now she sees that Decoline really meant it when he said he is going to change. Decoline asks what is she doing here, as an unwanted guest. Ganesha says that she is sorry, she was just dropping by, but what she saw was too shocking for her to leave. He says that there is nothing to be shocked about, since she already knows Yariel will do a much better job, being the household head than him. Ganesha says that she knows it, but still, Yariel von Grahan Ukraine doesn't have a single drop of Ukraine blood at all. These words terrifyingly astonishes him. What is she talking about? He wonders because he doesn't remember this being in the game. Yariel is set to be a half-sister. He was already aware that she wasn't Deculian's biological sister. However, she doesn't share even a single drop of blood with the Ukraines. He has never heard anything about this. Is this really all right, giving Yariel that head position? Moreover, to begin with, Decoline was the one that requested this of them, to determine whether he and his sister have any blood relations. She says that she is sure that they discussed about this beforehand. Decoline replies, saying that even so Yariel is just Yariel, so he would give her the position she deserves. Ganesha says that he is surprising her quite a lot today. She didn't even think he would say something like that. Woojin thinks that he could say the same, because he didn't know this kind of background existed. Ganesha says that she will make sure to protect the secret regarding his sister, and before going she gives information about 6 snakeheads. She has heard that the 6 snakeheads have begun to move. The 6 snakeheads are the leaders of infamous criminal organizations within this continent. Their notoriety is at a level such that each one of them has a bounty on their heads worth several million. She informs that they're after the items bought from the auction house. Even if the auction house manages to deliver them safely, She advises that he has to keep his guard up the moment they arrive at his residence. Lastly, she says that it feels like he has been neglecting magical defenses a lot recently. That's why she can get in so easily, too. So he must be concerned about it. After her departures, he thinks that the information was something he didn't need to know. Knowing it changes nothing. Because from the beginning, he is not Deculian. His treatment of Yariel wouldn't change whether she's his biological sister or not. Yariel will always be Deculian's sister, so he decides to just hide the truth. After some time, Ganesha meets her team. Near the campfire, she started telling the story of what interesting thing happened today. She tells everyone that it's true, that Professor Deculian has changed a lot. It's almost like another person's wearing his skin. He's completely different now. She says that even that scum looks different now that he's saying such sweet things. A boy, who is a member, tells his captain that she is a type of person who fawns over handsome men, so she would like him regardless of what he says. Ganesha tells him, then she should just tear him apart since he is not that good-looking. He informs that his grandma said he is handsome, though. She replies that some good-looking guy was walking behind him then. Rayleigh, who is also a member of the Red Garnet adventure team, but she is also Julie's relative. You're saying Deculian has a human side to him now? She asks. Ganesha says that. Anyway, they won't have to watch Deculian anymore. She wanted to ask him if he's still looking for a magic slave, but it didn't seem like it at all. She says that they should now head back, but before leaving, he tells them to keep everything they heard today a secret, and they better keep quiet about all of this. Then they leave using a teleportation magic. The next day, at the University Magic Tower, Deculian will finally be able to use the system store. But he still doesn't have enough currency to actually buy anything he needs. System Store allows one to use store currency to strengthen his characters as he can improve not just his player character, but also any named characters using the store. There are only a few opportunities to be able to use the System Store. He will only have 6 chances by the end of the second half. The reason is because while he can only use the store once per level, every time his level goes up, the amount he needs to spend will increase by a factor of 2. Deculian realizes that he can't rush and waste this valuable opportunity. He is consistently training memorization, physical training, QI-controlled levitating blades, and so on be integrating them in his routine. But he is still lacking in combat strength, compared to infamous named villains. For the sake of his growth, what he needs now is improvements in mana quality. He will have to hurry up and gather the 4-store currency he needs. At that moment, he hears someone knocking at the door. He gives his permission to enter. His subordinate, Alan, enters, greeting him. Alan tells the professor to look into the newspaper that he received just now. He says that he thinks the professor needs to be careful because this was published in today's issue of Wizard Journal. It is a wanted journal about Lockhart. It says that there have been their eyewitness reports of wizard killer Lockhart and tells the wizards to avoid going outside. He thinks that Lockhart is the greatest danger to mage players in the first quarter of the game. But this guy has already started appearing. Of course, if he were a normal mage, Lockhart would pose a danger to him, but as he is now, he has no cause for concern. In fact, this might rather prove an opportunity to earn store currency, so he hopes he end up bumping into the wizard killer. He tells Alan that there's no need to worry about a wizard killer. And now he will be heading to the library, so Alan should head back as well. He was about to leave, but he remembers something important and halts. Alan, do you have any intentions to become an assistant professor? He asks. Alan replies saying, of course, without thinking the gravity of the words, but after realizing he screams the hell out of his mouth. He asks why Professor Deculian is suddenly saying this when he always told Alan that he lacks talent. Deculaean states that he is asking now that he has seen how earnest Alan is. He thinks that, though it's really only because he received a notice telling him to pick an assistant professor. Without further delay, he tells Alan to stop asking questions and gives him a bangle with the Euclid emblem engraved on it. He tells Alan to continue to work hard. After receiving it, Alan says thank you to the professor and cries tears of joy. Deculaean thinks that Alan's ability to organize documents and perform miscellaneous errands is excellent. He'll be useful, so Deculaean can't let him escape, since all those that begrudged Deculaean's cruelty couldn't bear it and left. Yet Alan has been doing all kinds of work by himself. So who knows when he might run away too? He gives his assistant some money telling him to turn in early for today and buy dinner with this. Alan is about to say that this is too much, but Deculaean doesn't listen and just leaves. He enters into the library where only the staff are allowed. The reason he came to the library was because of Luna's paper. The paper he found in the laboratory was on the invention of pure elements. However, there were too many errors and holes, so he intends to make up for them. After entering, he sees someone who shouldn't be there. "Why are you inside the staff-only library, debutante Sylvia?" he asks. 10 minutes ago, Sylvia asked permission of Professor Relin to enter the library. The professor replied that there is no need to restrict the successor of Elaide and this year's rookie mage from entering the staff-only library if it is for study purposes. The manager tells her to use to it leisurely. Sylvia's hobby is to study literatures and languages. She had come all the way to the executive reading room to find a material that met both criteria simultaneously. The novel she found was written in none other than Ethanel. With the disappearance of the fairies, its value has increased, making Ethanel novels increasingly rare. Ethanel is the language of the fairies. This is the reason why Sylvia visited the executive reading room, which she usually wouldn't have access to. And of course, she didn't think she'd run into Deculaean in this place. Deculaean asks her whether does she wants the disciplinary committee to convene again? On the contrary, Sylvia is thinking why Deculaean is here because she clearly remembers hearing that he doesn't even go near the library. Sylvia says that she is here because she is looking for a certain document, and she has already gotten permission from Professor Relin. Professor Deculaean replies that it would mean that Professor Relin ignored the school regulations and the librarian condoned it. In that case, they also deserve to be disciplined. Then he sees the novel Sylvia has in her hands, an Ethanel novel. Your purpose in going against the regulation was to find a romance novel written in Ethanel? He asks. Sylvia first of all asks, how can he read the Ethanel language? Then she realizes that it's not the important. She explains that she was reading it because of her interest in literatures and languages. Deculaean gives the novel back to her, while saying that he will let it slide this time. However, if she comes here again without proper permission, he will take disciplinary measures. So unless her goal is to flaunt her family's influence, he advises her to send someone else to borrow a book. After his departure, Sylvia thinks that she got humiliated. She just wanted to understand the fairies through novels written in Ethanel. But then she wonders how can the professor read Ethanel since it is a language that lacks consistency, making it difficult to read. Then, the first practical training in the Mountain of Darkness starts. One of the professor, behind Deculaean, tells Professor Relin that everyone seems composed. Although it's their first practical training, he guesses they're not afraid of the Mountain of Darkness. Relin replies, saying that the training would have to stop by the night, but still he is proud of the students. The Mountain of Darkness is located a bit away from the university grounds. This mountain is a place of considerable significance and strict security for the Magic Tower. The forest serves as both a training ground for real experience and a rich repository of magical materials. Because of this, The danger posed by beasts and venomous creatures is high, prompting the magic tower to enforce multiple protective barriers and ensure patrols by an on-duty professor. Professor Relin tells Head Professor Deculian that the on-duty professor for this week has not been decided yet, so they need to appoint someone new and asks for his suggestion. Deculian says that he will do it. The professor praises Deculian by saying that it is expected from the head professor. Seeing him take the lead by example truly makes him the epitome of what a professor should be. Deculian thinks that he is doing this not for a noble reason like that, but because of something is pulling him from there. He concludes that it must be why he was just given a side quest. What is about to happen in the mountain that turns this game into the horror genre at night, he wonders. 9 hours later at a cafe near the Magic Tower, Ephorine is giving the commoners a treat. She tells them to dig in, thinking that she now has 100,000 elni. Julie informs them that she has already submitted the club establishment plan, so it should be approved soon. So they should consider this their first gathering in advance. Another member worries that there are not many people signing in their club, so he wishes that other people doesn't hesitate too much to join. Julie tells him not to worry. As long as they run the club well, people will eventually join. She says that she heard there was a training session at the Mountain of Darkness earlier today. Luna relies while drooling over the desert, saying, "Yeah, 50 people volunteered for it, even though accidents happen there from time to time." Suddenly, they hear a loud noise. All of them run outside in order to check where the sound came from. Julie points at the direction from which the sound came and they run towards that way. As they are moving, they hear someone shouting for help. Ephorine rushes forward, even though hearing Julie's warning that something is wrong up ahead. By the time she halts and looks back, she has already lost them. She is teleported to an unknown place which she doesn't know about. She wonders, where is this place, as she was just running at the cafe street? She again hears someone calling for help. This time, Luna asks them where they are, since she is coming to help. The voice guides her, telling her which way they are. She goes there and sees a woman. As she is about to reach near her, the woman gets attacked, and she shouts in pain. Upon seeing that someone is attacking, she immediately gets ready to counterattack, but then she sees that the person who was attacking is none other than the head, Professor Deculian. Ephorine asks Deculian how can he attack an innocent civilian. Deculian tells her to open her eyes and see again, since the creature in front of them is not a person. "What is that?" Luna questions. Deculian replies that it seems she was under the effect of an illusion, something that demons do. He tells her not to interfere and get lost, while throwing her outside himself. Now that he has ensured Luna's safety, it's time for him to hunt. He notices that the demon is furious because it just lost its prey. He immediately starts attacking it. Looking at the core on its forehead, he predicts that its specialty must be illusions. Thanks to his resolute, which resists mental attacks, however, it's ineffective against him. He feels that his blood is boiling. He realizes that Deculian's lineage is making him endlessly furious. Deculian has an attribute named Euclean, which is also due to his lineage. It's a lineage with exceptional power in subjugating the demons. When facing demons or in areas with high concentrations of demonic energy, he can purify the surrounding mana using their own mana and utilize it. The purified mana increases in quality by 1 rank. However, as a result, he will become more aggressive. Hostility toward demons will increase. It's a renowned legacy of the Eucolanes, known for hunting demons since ancient times. It is now manifesting in Deculian as well. So he will never let the demon before him survive. This rage he is feeling right now. Due to it, he mercilessly finishes off the demon. After killing it, he calls the creature filthy for spilling filth, even at the moment of its dead. He thinks that this appearance of the demon signals the real start of things. It's a signal that indicates the start of the game without the player. In the next scene, Luna suddenly wakes up in the clinic. She is confused, so she asked what is she doing here because she clearly remembers she was in the woods. The lady explains that Luna must not remember anything because last night, a demon appeared in the mountain of darkness. She was under that demon's bewitchment and passed out. Later, she was found and moved to the clinic. Furthermore, she informs that the mountain of darkness was shut down because of that demon, and the magic tower is investigating the whole thing at the moment. She also mentions that Professor Dekulayan was the one who saved Lena. Ephraim clenches her teeth, thinking that she was saved by that person again, whom she resents. Then she asks what day is today. The lady says that it's been 36 hours since Luna got here, so it's Wednesday. After hearing it, Luna screams, saying that she is late and quickly runs towards her classroom. She barely made it. Julia waves her hand, telling Luna to come here. Julia mentions that she went to see Luna at the clinic, but she wasn't awake and asks about her health. Ephraim replies that she is all right. In fact, she is in the best condition possible because of all the sleep she got. But what's all this? Was there a notice I missed about today's class? She asks. Julia replies that she also doesn't know. It was just like this when she got here. She says that there must be some sort of special lesson today. At that time, Dekulayan, along with his assistant, enters the classroom. Who's that with Dekulayan? Luna wonders. Dekulayan says that there's an announcement he has to make before he starts the lecture. He introduces Alan and informs that Alan will be his teaching assistant. After hearing the announcement, many students started gossiping. One of the students says that she thought Professor Dekulayan preferred to teach alone. Another student replies, saying, yeah. She heard that Professor Dekulayan had never had a teaching assistant. They also say that if someone become a teaching assistant, he can build his resume through the professor evaluations, and there's no way Professor Dekulayan would just let that happen. Meanwhile, hearing all of these, Luna says that all of them are true, since it was also why her father was a researcher at 30 years old. He wasn't able to become a teaching assistant. So why did Dekulayan suddenly take in a mage she has never seen before as one? She wonders. Dekulayan announces that today's lecture will be on learning by experience. He tells them to try to solve the task given to them in 3 hours, and Alan provides them with the timer. Looking at the bracket, she says that it's her dad's inheritance. She always asked herself whenever she looked at it, which had now become her vessel, who was her father to Dekulayan? Why Dekulayan did not give her father even a chance? And why is he doing all these nice things now? Countlessly questions appears in her mind, which are eating her from the inside. She knows that she needs to finish her task, and she needs to think of a spell quickly. But her mind is filled with all different kinds of thoughts that she can't even concentrate. Suddenly, she hears a voice saying that, 25 minutes and 15 seconds, I'm done. She looks back and sees that it's Sylvia. Dekulayan goes to check, and his cold glare startled Sylvia for a moment, but Dekulayan gives her permission to leave since her work is perfect. Sylvia stands up with confidence and looks at Luna, as if she is looking at a peasant, and it makes Luna extremely angry. She thinks that she needs to do this task quickly too. But as time passed, other students consists of Julia, Lehin, Rotan, leave the classroom. One by one, every student leaves, until there is only one student left. Luna realizes that she is done for. She bangs her head into the table countless times, wanting to think of something. Not only did she not do better than that damned Sylvia, she was the only one who failed to do anything until the end of class. Why am I like this? Am I really so stupid that I can't even do something as simple as this? She thinks. She says that she just didn't know better. She can't even think of revenge now. She didn't even deserve to go to the academy, and she can't compete at all. 5 hours and 47 minutes. How long do you intend on making me wait? Deculane speaks up. Luna gets shocked to see that he is still here. He mentions that Luna had a breakdown over an easy assignment and couldn't finish it in time. She says sorry, since she can't say anything. Deculane tells her that even if someone laughs at her, even if someone is ahead of her, even if the person she resents is right in front of her, she must be cold and logical at all times. He says that she will never get to his level with such a weak mind. Lastly, he says that he is disappointed with her since he thought she was better than that. With saying this, he leaves or pretends to leave. After Deculane's departure, Luna looks down for a moment, but she sits in the chair, slamming the table with a determined look, remembering the things she had to listen due to her shortcoming. She says that she can do this, even if someone like Deculane isn't disappointed in her. She again repeats that she will do it, no matter what it takes. Deculane spent 6 hours on Luna, and he thinks it's worth it, as this is a necessary investment. Because of what happened, a stronger Luna will be necessary. The appearance of the demon in the dark mountain made Deculane realize that the main event will start soon. When the era of overflowing evil arrives, a named individual who can exert positive influence on the main quest will be crucial, and one of them is a fully developed Luna. Right now, Luna lacks the mentality and awareness of a true magician, but if she overcomes this, the growth will be overwhelming. But that growth might become a threat to Deculane, and he simply won't let that happen. Fate is nothing more than faith for those who do not strive. The only thing Deculane believes in is himself. Deculane's personality would never allow himself to be caught up by a mere debutante. At that time, Luna comes out of the room and directly walks away. Deculane gets inside and sees the flower glowing golden. He stares and says that it took 6 hours and 25 minutes to complete the task. He then writes the report saying that Luna completed her work at the last, but the quality of her results are enough to make her compete for the first place. The side quest is completed, and Deculane received 1 store currency. As Luna left, Deculane also decides to go to his mansion. On his way to the mansion, Zeit stops him and greets him, which makes Deculane as bit nervous. Zeit von Bruggen-Frieden, he is the current head of the Frieden family, Julie's older brother, as well as the one who strongly pushed for Deculane and Julie's betrothal, and most importantly, he is above Ganesha in initial combat strength as 3rd place. He is a named character who is famous for his tremendous combat strength. Deculane is nervous as he can't fathom why Zeit is looking for him. The only guess he makes that Zeit has come here because he took the snowflare stone from Julie. And if that's the case, a death variable might arise, and Deculane has no countermeasures against this monster. Zeit talks with a smile and says that he was worried when he heard that Deculane and Julie's relationship is not going well, and to fix this he has come here to invite Deculane on dinner in this week. As Zeit seems in a light mood, Deculane agrees to attend the dinner. Zeit taps his shoulder and says that he likes that how quickly Deculane make the decision. He gives an intimidating look and says that they will meet at the dinner and leaves. Deculane gets that Zeit wouldn't take it well if he refused it. Zeit holds his household above all else, and who knows what would happen if he was to interfere with Zeit's plans. The next day, Zeit goes to Luna and tells her about this meeting. Luna gets mad and says that they both hate each other and don't disturb her any further as she is busy with her night training. Zeit asked her if she is sulking just because Deculane took the snowflare stone from her. Luna replies that that's not the case, and the two of them starts to argue, and man with long black hair sees them arguing. Zeit tells Luna that Deculane purchased the stone so that he can make a sword with that and give it as a present to her. Hearing this, Luna gets mad and says that she will immediately break the marriage if that happened. Zeit gets angry hearing this. He radiates his aura and tells Luna to think carefully. He further says that he explained her this the other day, that there is no emotion in politics. Zeit then asked her if she has someone she has taken a linking. Seeing her brother getting angry, Luna controls her anger and replies that she has no one to her liking. Zeit again asked her that if she is concerned about the rumors about Deculane. Luna replies that doesn't bother her. Listening this, Zeit tells her to come to the dinner on time, and if there is any misunderstanding, they will solve it there. Saying this, he leaves. Luna is furious, and she takes her sword and swings it vigorous to vent her anger. The black-haired man then comes closer to her and says that she seems troubled. The man's name is Veron, and he is a subordinate of Luna. Luna apologizes to him for showing this disgraceful side of her. Veron says that there is nothing to apologize for as he understands it. Veron tells her that Deculane is not the right man for her, and he also rebels against Zeit, who is pushing this marriage. Luna tells her to stop and says not to speak ill words behind someone's back, and this doesn't suit a knight. Veron stops and lowers his head. Luna looks at Veron and smiles and tells him not to dirty his hand because of her, as she is fine. Veron stares at her and says nothing. She then tells him to get ready as she will be heading back. As Luna walks away, Veron thinks that he has finally found the answer to this anguish and suffering. He has found a way to prove his loyalty as her vassal, and it is something that only he can do. He is determined to go any length for the happiness of his liege. Later at the nighttime, we can see the Burke Elder Hall. The elders gathered there, and they talked about the demon that appeared on the Dark Mountain. From the beginning, magic is created as a secret art to eradicate demons. And since a demon has appeared, the elders can't slide this matter away. The elders come to a decision. They orders they envy to send message to the 12 houses of magic and tells them to respond to the Burke's summon. The scene shifts, and we can see Deculane's house. He has stored all the items that he has bought at the auction. He kept 2 items with him. One is the Luperin's ring, which helps with mana recovery, and the ancient rune necklace, which can store mana. The rest of the items will be stored in the vault as Ganesha advised. However, there is a problem. The most important item, the Snowflare Stone, is not cooperating. Deculane didn't expect to handle the snowstone right away, but no matter how much psychokinesis he uses, it won't budge at all. The snowstone's mana is resisting his magic. In the game, it was too expensive to even look at, so he has no idea what to do. Even if he force a reforging, he can't even use psychokinesis on it. A passage he read in the library last time. A legendary sword requires a process of taming. That process is called resonance. Deculane wonders if that means he has to understand the sword itself. He then decides to use comprehension on the stone. He puts his hand on the stone and uses his ability. All of his mana is sucked instantly, so he stops. He used 2,000 mana and only understand 0.1% of it. He is worried as if this goes on, he will take at least a year to fully understand it. However, for now, this is the best method he can devise. After that, he moves on and starts to get ready for the dinner meeting. He looks at the calendar and sees that there are 2 markings. One marking is for today, the meeting with Zeti, and the other marking has been made before he reincarnated. It is 3 days from now, and there's a short note that this is a Memorial Day. Later, Deculane goes to Restaurant Von Meschel to attend the dinner. Zeti and Deculane walks in the restaurant, and Zeti thanks him for coming. As they enters the room, they sees that Julie is already there. Julie is dressed beautifully, and Deculane's face turns red seeing her. After that, everyone take their seats. Deculane didn't expect that Julie would be so beautiful when dressed properly. A voice comes, which says she has put a lot of effort in Julie's dress. Deculane gets nervous as he didn't expect that Josephine would be here. Right now, she's just acting as the older sister attending her siblings' matchmaking, but Josephine is not just Julie's sister. In fact, to Deculane, she's the most dangerous named character to be wary of, a true sociopath who stops at nothing to achieve her goals, the ruler of the underground intelligence group. shadow that controls the continent from behind the scenes, and a powerhouse on par with Zeit in terms of raw strength. The only person Josephine truly cherishes is Julie. Because of that, touching Julie is like touching her reverse scale. When Deculian sits, he can feel it clearly. The killing intent Josephine is directing at him and the manifestation of villain's fate. The fact that he could sense the killing intent of a sociopath like Josephine means that this death flag is incredibly dangerous. In the end, Deculian must prove his sincerity to Julie to avoid this crisis. As Deculian is lost in his thought, Zeit suggests that they should get to the main point before the food arrives. Zeit says, "Professor Deculian, when shall the wedding take place? It has already been 3 years since your engagement." Hearing this, Julie interrupts, but Zeit stops her saying that this is a conversation between two family elders. Deculian seems nervous. Zeit tells him to be comfortable and speak what's on his mind. Deculian then looks at Josephine and says he will leave this decision entirely to Julie. If she is not certain about this marriage, he is prepared for an annulment. "Oh ho, how can you speak of annulment so lightly? Is it because your relationship has grown distant lately? In that case, you should think about mending your relationship. Annulment is not so simple. The elders of the family would never allow it." Zeit says this to Deculian. At that time, Julie shouts, "My lord, please allow us to be alone for a moment. I ask this of you." Zeit looks at Julie and he decides to let them have a private talk. He tells Josephine to come with him. After that, Zeit and Josephine leaves the room. Now Julie and Deculian is alone. Julie gives a frown looks and asked Deculian, "What are you planning to do this time? Just what do you want?" As Julie asked the question, Deculian guessed that he has to answer correctly as Josephine is hearing everything. She pretended to leave with a smile, but she must have set up a trick to eavesdrop, as there's no way she left just like that, but this is also an opportunity. Josephine doesn't know that Deculian is aware of her. Deculian truly loves Julie. If her can make her believe that, he might be able to avoid this death flag. Deculian now starts his talk with Julie. He tells her that what he said is his true feelings. Julie gives an angry look and asks what he means. It's all true feelings. Deculian replies, "As you can see, I cannot dissolve this engagement as I wish. No, rather, there is nothing we can do about this. Things have progressed too far." Julie stomps the table and says, "And so? What dirty method will you use to torment me this time? Before we were engaged, you used your connections to force this engagement. You promised to compensate our family's elders, and you do remember what you said to convince me." As Deculian is about to say anything, Julie shouts and says, "Fighting is dangerous. Because of that, you forced me to stop pursuing the Imperial Order, and you brazenly suggested that I take up the mantle of Captain of the Order of Hadakane, which is supervised by the Euclean family. And when I refused, you spread all kinds of rumors about me. Just what are you trying to start now?" Deculian knows about all of this. He confused his obsession and manic fixation over keeping her by his side for affection, and he tore down everything around Julie so that she had no choice but to stay. Deculian did unforgivable things. Because of that, he understands Julie's hatred for him more than anyone. Deculian tells Julie that he won't do that anymore. He knows that he has been tying her down. Hearing this, Julie gets shocked and tells him to clarify that he is saying. Deculian makes a sad make and tells her that he is trying to say that he has done wrong with her. Julie is surprised to see that Deculian in admitting his own wrongdoings. Deculian further says that not only him, but her brother and big sister are also extreme. Julie argues with him about this. Deculian then asked her that if that's not the case, so why her family members are trying to stop her annulment. Julie is shocked and don't know what to say. Deculian tells her that her brother is pushing her because of the honor of their family. He cut the steak and says that if she wishes to become a guardian knight, she has to leave her family's grasp. Julie is stunned to hear this. She asked Deculion that how did he know about her dream? Deculion ignores that and says that he is neither honest nor faithful. He is a completely different from the kind of person she wishes for. Julie asked him that what he is saying all of a sudden. She tells him to get to the point. Deculion then says, "For someone like me, there is only one thing I can do for you. We will keep the engagement, but we will not marry. I truly want to set you free, but due to all the political ties, I cannot. Use my name as a shield for as long as you need until you are fully prepared to pursue your dream. I will maintain our engagement and wait." Hearing this, Julie is confused. She asked Deculion that what exactly is he plotting, and why is he saying this now? "I don't expect anything in return, but if I were to ask for something, show me your smile once a month. That is all I ask for." Deculion says this with a grim look. Hearing this, Julie shies, and her face turns red. Josephine also gets uncomfortable hearing this. Deculion just said something that sounded good to avoid the death flag, but seeing Julie flustered by his words is endlessly adorable to him. He has no choice but to admit it now. Even Deculion's love for Julie has become his own. Julie handle herself and so show her dignity. She tells him that she won't fall for it. Josephine, who is hearing their talks, finds the words of Deculion cringe. She wonders if his love for Julie is real. She decides that she will keep an eye of Deculion for a bit longer to be sure if his feelings are really true. The dinner event ended at a good note. Deculion overcomes a death flag and gains 2 store currency. The scene shifts and we can see 3 days later. Deculion is going to the cemetery. Today is the scheduled Memorial Day. A cemetery, just by its nature, brings forth a renewed sense of sentiment between the overgrown weeds, like the sunset light soaking into the cracks of the tombstones. My heart had arrived here long before my body, melting into this place, because my memories are here, not as Deculion, but as Kim Woo-jin's memories. In past, one night, Woo-jin's ex-GF Yuara comes to him and tells him that she has added 1 Easter egg. She says that she thought about adding a setting for Deculion. He's a mid-boss in our game, so it should fine, and the writer has already agreed to it. Woo-jin tells her not to do that as this will take a lot of data, and more importantly, the workload of the staff will increase. She tells Woo-jin that it's important in its own way, and she is trying to put the creator's heart into the game. Seeing that she won't change her mind at all, Woo-jin tells her to do as she wishes. She tells Woo-jin that she has a clever idea, and it definitely won't be a waste. She says that Deculion has a deceased ex-fiancee. Back then, Yuara got all excited saying she had a fun idea. Woo-jin wonders what was so amusing about it, and what kind of prank did she leave as an Easter egg, and what was it that made her smile so brightly? To revive the memories of Kim Woo-jin, Deculion has no choice but to seek out those traces. As Deculion comes to the cemetery as he stands in front of the grave of his ex-fiancée, he sees that the name written on the tombstone is Woo-jin's ex-GF Yuara. There is a short note beside the name which says, "The one who will always be grateful to you." Woo-jin is in wow. He wonders why Yuara has inscribed her name on this tombstone. Deculion, who was modeled after Kim Woo-jin. To that Deculion's deceased fiancé, why did Yuara give her own name? And why, of all things, did she say she were grateful to him? Deculion kneels down and touches the tombstone. Just a single inscription that alone stirred emotions all throughout his body. It felt like he could hear Yuara's whispering voice, and memories of the past poured out endlessly. The way she shyly smiled while praising his drawings. How she took off her coat for his when he was shivering on a winter night, telling him she loved him as she embraced him, picking him up when he was struggling for 7 long years, the one who was always by his side, his memories of her. As Deculayan is crying, a man with long white hair sees him, and the man is in huge rage. Deculayan finished his crying, and due to his attribute, he quickly regains his composure. In the meantime, the white-haired man gets closer. Deculayan seems to know him. He asks the man if his name is Rockhack. The man is exuding a huge amount of killing intent. The man looks at him with his deathly eyes and asks how he knows his name and how dare is he that as a mage he speaks with him. Wizard Killer Rockhack. This guy is a mid-boss villain specifically for mage players. Rockhack became the nemesis of mages because of his ability, Magic Nullification. As with any other game, the nullification trait is practically a cheat, and Rockhack's ability requires no special conditions. Regardless of physical contact, no one can use magic within his radius. Rockhack rushed towards Deculayan with a knife and he attacks him. Deculayan backs off to dodge him. But Rockhack didn't stop, and he launched series of attacks, but Deculayan dodges all of them. Rockhack gets frustrated, and he directly jumps towards Deculayan. Deculayan gives a solid punch on his face. Rockhack flies away and lands on the ground. Deculayan gets closer and stomps on him. A few days ago, Deculayan finally saved up over 10 store currency, and he bought Mana Quality Enhancement. It increases the efficiency of mana usage, but more importantly, with the same amount of mana, he can now produce far greater power. Mana Quality Enhancement, Stage 1, applied. With this skill, he can now refine mana more effectively. However, it seems to have had a much broader effect than he expected, after the magic training as Deculayan goes to perform his dolly workout. As he hangs on a bar to do pull-ups, he gets shocked to see that with just a little pressure, the bar bends. The Mana Quality Enhancement has improved his human quality. This is the reason Deculayan is able to defeat Rockhack so easily. Upon crushing Rockhack, Deculayan overcomes a death flag and receives 1 store currency. As Deculayan predicted, the Mana Quality Enhancement also applies to his sab traits. He could have already beaten Rockhack with Iron Body, but with the enhanced trait, it was even easier than he imagined. Rockhack gains his consciousness as he crawls on the ground. He says, "Damn it! I could have finished him, those rotten mages, cursed scum, heretics who betrayed God. The floating island, Burke, and the mage tower are all lunatics, worthless worms who can't do anything without magic." Upon hearing this, Deculayan thinks that a unique ability that could be called broken, his intense hatred toward mages and even that word heresy, he links all of this together and asked Rockhack he is from the fallen clan. Rockhack gets surprised to hear this. He asked Deculayan that how did he know that. The fallen family, known as the Blood-Shroud race, was given its name because they're born covered in blood-red shroud of film. Their bloodline was known to be descended from the demons of ages past. They who live throughout the continent while hiding their identities are opposite beings to the mages. Just as magecraft was created in order to fight demons, the conflict between mages and the Blood-Shroud race was a central element in creating the worldview, and one of the main plot lines of this game's story. That's why the Blood-Shroud race have their lives endangered simply because of their ancestry. Cleansing could very well be occurring somewhere right at this very moment. Deculayan tells Rockhack that he understands him. The ages of oppression and repression he has experienced are truly a shame. But still, if he kills an innocent mage, he would be a monster just like them. Rockhack gets angry and shouts telling Deculayan to shut up and just kill him. Deculayan tells Rockhack that he knows that the Blood-Shroud race is innocent. Rockhack is confused and asked what did he just say. He asked Deculayan if he is trying to act pretentious before killing him. Deculayan says, "I am Euclean's Deculayan. That is the family line of honorable nobles who have not lost their dignity. The only time I've lost dignity is when I faced a demon. The Euclean bloodline who has hunted demons since ancient days starts to burn up like we're seizing when we see demons. This is like an instinct that cannot be overcome. Rokak, did I lose my dignity and composure in front of you, or did I waver at your provocations? Did I go berserk as if seizing? You are humans. Hearing the comforting words of Deculain, Rokak clams down and stares at him. At that moment, some people come rushing towards them. Seeing them, Deculain tells Rokak to trust him and he knocks him out with a kick. The inspector named Ropa comes there to arrest Rokak. Seeing Deculain, he salutes him. He praises Deculain for defeating him. Deculain then uses this telekinesis and gathers the surrounding metals, and using them he creates a steel rope. Ropa is in awe to see this. Deculain hands the rope to Ropa and tells him to tie Rokak with this as he is magic neutral, so magic handcuffs will be useless against him. Deculain then asked Ropa, how did he get here so fast? Was he patrolling near? Ropa answered that he came here after receiving a report. Ropa asked if he wasn't the one who reported. Deculain says he didn't report. He tells Ropa that some nearby person might have heard the commotion and reported it. As they are talking, a girl hiding behind the tree is hearing their conversation. After that, Deculain tells to handle this here as he will be leaving now. Ropa again salutes him and bids him farewell. As Deculain walks away, he is glad to see that everything concluded without any bloodshed, as he don't want to hurt anyone. Then the next day at Euclene Estate in Deculain's training room, his sister comes to him with a letter and give it to him and tells him that for the 1th time in 15 years, a meeting is called in Burke. Deculain opens the letter and reads, there was recently an incident where a demon appeared at the Mountain of Darkness. As a result of that, Burke wants to bring you mages and discuss this. As Deculain reads this, a main quest called Burke Call appears. Deculain then tells his sister that he is allowed to bring one guard with his in this meeting. Hearing this, his sister asked him if she should tell Zeph about this. Deculain says that there is no need for him as he is more familiar with steering. But you can't just go without a guard. I know my stuff. The journey to Burke is one where your life can't be guaranteed, Deculain's sister says this. Deculain looks at her and asks if she is worrying about him. Deculain's sister gets embraced and says, as if, don't say something so gross. I just can't have you dying on me before I officially get the residing head position from you. Anyways, leave the guard issue to me. I'll commission it to a trustworthy place. The scene shifts, and we can see the order of Frahim's post, the knights and sparring with each other. Julie is the one who is overseeing theater training. The vice-captain of Julie's order is standing afar, and he seems troubled by something. At that time, Veron comes from behind and scared him. Veron asked him what's troubling him. The man tells Veron that there's a commission that's come in for their order. It's a big one. But there's something that bothers his a little, so he don't know whether to accept it or not. Veron suggests him that he should discuss about this with the captain. The man says that it's difficult to tell this to Julie as the commission is to guard Deculain. Hearing this, Veron shakes his anger, he retains his composure and tells the vice-captain to accept the commission. He also tells him that as Deculain will be traveling in train, so to guard him means they have to guard the whole train, which is a difficult task. However, if they complete it successfully, their order's fame will increase instantly. Moreover, this will also help them with finances as they are a private order. The vice-captain is against this due to the relationship between Deculain and Julie. Veron convinces him saying that their captain is not someone who would ever insert her personal emotions into a mission. The vice-captain agrees with him, and he goes to discuss about this with their captain Julie. As he leaves, Veron gives a fearsome look. Burke. It is the name of the Alpines in the northern regions of the continent at an altitude of 3,500 m, as well as the dwelling of mages called elders. Burke is where all the schools of sorcery across the continent submit their ideas. The magic tower is a given, but the decisions made there are to be followed by even the floating island of mages. It exerts an immense amount of influence, such that it could be called the pillar of the magic world. And because the summoning assembly occurs rarely, only once every several decades, a mage attending the Burke summoning assembly is both an honor and recognition of one's status as a sorcerer of renown. Yet a summon from Burke is also known as a mage's grave. The scene starts at the train station train to Burke platform. Julie Veron and the other members of their squad are there taking preparations to escort Deculian to Burke safely. After a while, Deculian and his assistant comes at the station. Julie greets them and tells Deculian not to worry, as their squad will guard the first half of the train thoroughly. As she says, this is embraced and tries to put a nice smile on her face. This made Deculian remind about the condition he tells her at the dinner table. Julie is a bit nervous as she don't know how to smile and what to do in this kind of situation. The vice captain cries in respect for his captain, as even though she utterly loathe Deculian, but for the sake of the mission, she is trying hard to put on a smile. At that time, Veron steps in and introduces him to Deculian and tells him that he will be responsible in guarding him throughout this trip. The vice captain then ensures Deculian that Veron is a very talented person, so there will be no need to worry, as he will be able to handle any kind situation. Deculian seems something is fishy, so he uses his sharp eyesight, so check Veron. But to his surprising, he didn't get any special energy from Veron. Deculian think that he is overthinking things, so he tells Veron that he will be in his care. Veron says that he will in the cabin with him, so there is no need you water for him. Julie then says her farewell and leaves. As she is leaving, she turns around and tries her level best to smile at Deculian. Deculian smiles, thinking that she kept her promise well. Several hours later, the train is on its way to Burke. Veron is on his guarding duty. Deculian tells him to sleep if he feels tired, as they have several hours ahead of them. Veron heeds his words, as says that he will take a short nap. A summon from Burke is also referred to as the mage's grave. There's a special reason for Burke being seen as the pillar of the magic world, while also having that contrasting second face. It is because of the unexpected event that occurs every time the Burke summoning assembly takes place, the train attack. Safely getting past this event, one of Deculian's many causes of death, is something of a game of wits. This game would be choosing the safe train out of the ones heading to Burke. If you wish to take the safer option, then you can buy the information of which train will be attacked from dark connections. Wu Jin thinks that if it were the original Deculian, then he definitely would have done that. However, that's not possible right now because he cuts off all such dark connections after possessing Deculian. That's why he made several preparations to protect himself before he came. For example, it is the reason he acquired the martial arts techniques of the legendary fighter, Estrin, using comprehension. Deculian then looks at Alan and sees that he is sleeping soundly, even though he was causing a fuss because of how excited he was earlier. Several days ago, Deculian asked Alan if he wants to come with him in the Burke summoning. Hearing this, Alan busts into tears and says that he will surely come with him as this will be a great honor for him. This was unexpected, as Deculian didn't think he'd come with his, despite knowing how dangerous it is. Deculian wonders if Alan has more ambition than he had thought. The train comes to a station and stops there. All the people in the cabinet except Deculian, Alan, and Veron get down on this station. Now the only station left is Burke. Deculian wonders if he has chosen the right train, as there is not incident happened so far. However, Deculian has made thorough preparations. Before he left, he used Midas touch on a well-known master's clothes to increase its defensive capabilities, and he strengthened the various wood steel that he had spread around the inside of the train. He even applied it to Alan's clothes. Deculian have been using Midas touch so much recently that he don't have much mana left. He wonders if he should have spent it on something else. As he starts to think that everything will be peaceful at that time, a huge explosion occurs at the front part of the train, a few days before Deculian left. Sylvia AMD her father had already started their journey to Burst. Sylvia and her father is sitting in the train. Sylvia is reading a book, so her father asked her some questions about her studies in the Magic Tower. Sylvia says that the assignment load is a huge, but something she also skips her classes. Giltheon laughs and says that even though she will be an archmage in the near future, but she still work harder than anyone. Sylvia says that if she don't do this much, how will she become an archmage? Sylvia has grown fond of Deculian's lectures. For now, she don't care about Luna, the only things that she wishes is to attend Deculian's classes. She asked her father that why did they leave for Burke summoning assembly so early. Hearing this, Giltheon stays silent, and he asked Sylvia if she has heard about how the trip to Burke is the graveyard of mages. Sylvia says that she heard about it, but she thinks it's just a ghost story. Giltheon says it's not. Whenever there is a summons to Burke, a few mages always lose their lives. 15 years ago, 11 died. From long ago, getting summoned to Burke was a sign you're from a prestigious family. If you are chosen among the 20 families and attend, your family will be engraved in history. However, the families who were summoned but cannot attend the assembly are permanently expelled from the register, and there is the important rule that a new family will fill that empty space. Giltheon then asked Sylvia that what do she thinks is an easy way to drag those prestigious families down. Sylvia gets that gravity of the situation. The trip to Burke is akin to skim ice, where those who want to become new prestigious sorcerers aim for the lives of the existing ones. Giltheon then answers her question. He says, that's the reason they are rushing. He also says that he received intelligence that there's a group scheming to attack the train that's leaving later. That's why he is taking her along with him, so he wanted to be as careful as possible. Giltheon wants to explain everything to Sylvia since she will also face the cruelty of the world. Of the 12 traditional families, do you think any of the families were always traditional? Giltheon asked. Sylvia is confused and stays silent. Her father tells her that if someone needs to be punished for this, it should be all the sorcerers, as deaths on the way to this assembly is basically like a magical natural death. Now back to the present. Deculian and Alan is in the train. At that time, the bombs fit in the train brust and shakes the train vigorously. Veron and Deculian gets alerted. The bombs brust near Deculian's cabinet and it creates a huge hole in the train. Alan wakes up and gets shocked to see the condition of the train. The train gets off its track and is flying in the mid-air. This is the work of Deculian. Before coming, he has memorized the elementary telekinesis. Estran's martial arts is part of it, but having memorized elementary telekinesis. Before they left, helped them survive. At the top of the train, we can see some people in black robe. They are impressed to see that Deculian is able to float the entire train in the mid-air. They wonders if all the head professors are like this. A man among them tells them to drop the gossips and focus on the task. As they succeeded, they will be rewarded heavily. The men then starts to get inside the cabinet through the hole. Deculian looks at them and says, "Morons, unfortunately for you, I've already expected this." Deculian uses the small iron pieces and uses them to attack the men. He effortlessly kills some of the men. Alan is shocked to see this sudden attack. He asked, what is going on? Deculian strikes Alan's neck and make him unconscious. He then stands up and tells Veron to take Alan and get him to a safe place. He also tells him to evacuate all the passenger in the train. Veron then takes Alan and jumps out of the train. When Deculian strike Alan, he felt something different, but he left that thought for later as he has work to do. He uses the iron pieces and again attacks the rest of the men. The men are all scared to see the magic of Deculian. In the meantime, Veron puts Alan on a safe place. He then looks at the train and moves towards it. Inside, Deculian is done with the cleanup. He is exhausted, and his mana is close to 0. At that time, Veron jumps in. He tells Deculian that he has moved Alan to a safe spot, and he also evacuated all the passengers. Deculian praises him for the good work. However, as he looks at Veron's eyes, he noticed that his gaze is different from before. Deculian takes it lightly and thinks that he is just hyped up from the surprise attack. But he soon finds that his thinking was wrong. Veron emits enormous amount of red aura, which indicates that it's villain's fate. Veron then takes out his sword and points it at Deculian and says, "It's a relief you survived. I have to kill you myself." Deculian asked Veron if someone has ordered him to do this. He asked if Julie is the one behind it. Veron shouts, "Stop if you dare utter my master's name. I shan't forgive you. She is an upstanding knight who'd never think of something like this. Cease your foul imagination. You will die by my hand." For master. Seeing this reaction, Deculian gets that Julie is unrelated to this. He has 10 mana left. He wonders if he can defeat someone who's considered talented, even amongst the Order of Freyheim, in his current state. Veron then starts to attack. Deculian leans back and uses the iron pieces to block Veron's sword. Deculian cancels the telekinesis that is holding the train in the mid-air. After that, the train starts to fall down. The scene shifts, and we can see Sylvia. She is sitting in a room, and guard knight comes in with ice cream. The knight's name is Sirio. Sirio offers Sylvia ice cream, but Sylvia refused, saying that she is fine and tells him to eat them. Sylvia then asked him if everyone has arrived. Sirio replies that, other than Deculian and rewind everyone if here. He then asked her if there is someone she is waiting for. Nope, Sylvia says. Sirio then takes his leave, telling her to call him if she needs anything. Sylvia looks at the window and thinks of Deculian. A few days ago, she went to the cemetery to see her mother Cielia von Elamine Ilady, the proud mage, Gilthian's wife. It was a day where she went to visit Mom and talk to her. It was a normal day like any other. She sits in front of the grave and talks to her mom, and she tells her about Deculian, that he is terrible, that he gives her lots of assignments. As she is talking, she heard some noise. She quickly gets up and hides behind a tree. But she was surprised to see Deculian has come to the cemetery. Even with only seeing his crumpled back, she could feel his noble posture. At first glance, she wonders why he has come to a place like this. She don't thinks that Deculian is someone who would mourn someone who has passed. But she was utterly surprised to see that Deculian was crying. He, who was always cold and haughty, was shedding tears to Sylvia. It was fascinating. I always thought of him as an annoying professor who always acted high and mighty, but even he had memories of losing a loved one. Those tears, akin to shooting stars, kept plaguing her mind. She is also a bit worried after hearing the intelligent group report from her father. It's bothering her after hearing Deculian's lecture back then. There was something she wanted to try. She thinks that if she tries that with a magic stone as a medium, it might be possible. Of magic's 3 attributes, Origins is created using the caster as the source, and Sylvia's magic, which is composed of the 3 primary colors, began to use the mana stone as her medium, and it started to take shape. Primary colors. Creation. Sylvia succeeded in her try, and she made a bird. She names the bird Swift. She then orders the bird to fly and show her what it sees. The scene shifts, and we can see Deculian is a good state. Lucky the train hung on and did hit the ground. Deculian has broken some bone, but it's not a problem as he will recover soon, due to his Iron Man attribute. Veron is also safe and sound. He attacks Deculian, but Deculian dodges it. Deculian then uses the iron pieces to attack Veron. But it's of no use, and Veron has protective chi around his body. Veron attacks continuously. Deculian is finding it difficult to cope up with his attacks. Veron is far stronger than he imagined. Even if Deculian was in perfect condition, he won't be able to defeat him. However, Deculion will never bend in a situation like this, thanks to his resolute attribute. Resolute type rare. Even if one breaks, they shall stay resolute and not bend. This activates in battle and consistently maintains mental power until the battle is over. Almost no mental interference magic will work. Veron jumps to attack. Deculion iron pieces are protecting him from the attacks, but they are slowing breaking down due to the attacks of Veron. Veron swings his sword continuously and breaks all the iron pieces. Now Deculion has nothing what he can use as his defense. Veron then swings his sword at Deculion. Deculion wonders if he gets cut by this sword. Will the game end like nothing happened? Will he open his eyes in the office again? After that, we can see blood splash all over the cabinet. At that time, Sylvia's Swift has gotten there and flies around the sky above the train. As Veron attacks, the space around them starts to waver. God knows what happened out of nowhere. Veron's wrist gets sliced. Veron screams in pain. Deculion is confused to see what just happened. However, this is the only chance he has left. With the last bit of mana, he uses telekinesis and used the iron piece to cut Veron's leg. Veron lost his balance and falls behind. He bumps into the seat and falls through the gate. Luckily, in the last moment, he uses his dragger and holds onto the train with it. Veron is hanging in the air and is shaking as it's taking a toll on his hand to hold his whole body. At that time, Deculion comes in front of him. They both look at each other. Veron asked Deculion that what the hell he just did. Deculion. Answer that he don't know anything, he asked. Veron that why is he trying to kill him? Because as far as he know, there has nothing happened in the past between them. Veron says that the reason behind this, he can recall the evil deeds he committed against his liege. Are you really saying this is for Julie's sake, even though Julie didn't ask you to do this? What is Julie to you for you to be doing this? Deculion asked. Veron makes a grim face and tells Deculion that he will never understand. The scene shifts, and we can see the story of Veron. In the past, we can see Julie was the one who caught him when he beat a noble's son. The noble woman tells Julie about Veron, and Julie caught him and bring him in front the lady. Veron was a rebellious kid. He indeed beats the noble kid, but it was the kid's fault as he was the one who started it first. But as Veron was nobody, everyone blamed Veron and didn't hear his words of truth. Julie noticed this, but she was also powerless and can't fight against the noble. While the lady was telling what Veron did, a word makes Julie curious. The lady said that Veron trespassed into their property and beat her child. Julie was impressed that Veron, with such a skinny body, he climbed this high walls. Julie tells the lady to rest assured as she will take Veron to the police. The lady respect her word and let Veron go with her. Julie takes Veron, and as they were going to the police station, Veron tells her to untie him as he has used beat the child for self-defense, and he hasn't done anything to go to the police station. After hearing all of it, Julie tells him that Frisia's household is infamous for their behavior, so she believes him partly. Veron shouts and says that he is telling the truth. Julie shouts and tells Veron that even if he is telling the truth, he shouldn't hit people. She then unties Veron and asks him if he follow her, she will teach him how to control himself. Veron is moved by her charm, and in the end he agrees to follow her. That was how Veron and his liege first met. After that, he became a part of the Night Order and trained hard. However, because of his childhood and personality, he was unable to get along with others. The only person who took care of him was Julie. To Veron, everything was really all right as long as he could be beside his captain. His liege was always in front of him. She always helped others, and she did not negotiate with injustice. Day by day, Veron's respect and admiration for her grew, and so did his love for her. Back to the present, Veron tells Deculion that even though his thinking will be a burden to his liege, however he have to kill Deculion, as he will bring destruction to his liege someday. Hearing this, Deculion thinks that the words of Veron is correct, as if it was the original storyline. Deculean would be the reason for Julie's demise. Deculean decides to change everything. He tells Veron that he is wrong. He then tells Veron to take his hand, as he will never harm Julie no matter what. Deculean tells Veron to trust him and hold on to his hand. However, Veron didn't change his mind, and the villain aura gets stronger. Deculean asked Veron if he really don't intend to change his mind. Veron tells Deculean that he will never change his mind, and he will kill him no matter what. Deculean then grabs an iron piece and strikes Veron's hand with it. While striking, he tells Veron that his today's foolish choice will torment Julie forever. On the other hand, we can see Julie, who is training with her night order. She suddenly feels uneasy. Seeing her troubled face, the vice captain tells her not to worry about Veron, as he is capable enough to take care of himself. Veron is falling in the hill, and his last wish is that his liege lives happily. Sylvia sees through Swift's eye. That Deculean killed his guard, and the guard fell off the cliff. To be exact, the knight tried to kill Deculean first, and out of self-defense, Deculean killed him. Then her escort tells her that she should go to the assembly since it will begin soon. She is heading back, but she is worried whether Deculean will make it in time or not. Then, Lilia Fremien, Security Bureau Vice Chief, interrogates the officers who are working under her about the accident. She asks whether there was an explosion and attack. One of the people replies saying, yes. However, this is a common occurrence, as the Burke summoning assembly is near, so it's not a big deal. Then she asks whether there are any casualties. The person informs that while there were no injured, 2 people are currently missing. A guard named Veron and Professor Deculean. He says that she can hear about the details from that survivor over there, but he's still unconscious from the shock of the incident. A common people speak up. He informs that some knight saved him. The train was mid-air for a bit, and when he woke up, it had fallen. He thinks that the assassins tried a second attack. He shows a photo of the entire train being lifted mid-air. He says that it was so shocking that he took a picture. The lady finds it absurd, thinking that Deculean raised the entire train with magic. Suddenly, she hears telepathic messages. The voice says that the knight Veron is dead. He doesn't know why, but Veron tried to kill Deculean and ultimately failed, and head Professor Deculean survived. She suddenly looks back, searching from where did the telepathic messages came from. She sees no nun, but Alan lying unconscious on the road. The person sees someone walking towards them and points at him. They see that it's Professor Deculean, walking as if he has lost most of his energy. He thinks that if it weren't for the strange phenomenon that occurred then, luckily he would have been killed by a knight who isn't even a named. Without the help of an unidentifiable person, he would be the one at the bottom of the cliff. He can't believe that he is so powerless. Just who was it that helped me back then? He wonders. Lilia introduces herself, saying that she has some questions regarding the incident. What time is it? Deculean asks, without wanting to listen to the questions. Lilia replies that it's 3:30. While seeing the rail tracks, Deculean thinks that he has only 6 hours left to reach the assembly. Lilia tries to mention the questions, but she gets ignored. Deculean asks whether this train is the only way to Burke. Lilia gets totally annoyed. She replies, saying no, there is also a road path and sea route on the other side, too. She again tries to mention the questions, telling him to listen to the end. She tries to ask about the knight whom he was fighting, but the next moment she sees Deculean is already gone. Wasn't head Professor Deculean here just now? She asks. The officer says that perhaps Deculean used acceleration magic. Lilia says that even after blocking the train from derailing with telekinesis and fighting assassins and Veron, Deculean used the high-level magic known as accelerate. Just how much mana does that guy have, she wonders. Now she sees why Lockhart, the wizard killer, mentioned Deculean. at Burke assembly. Sylvia's father says that it's almost 9:53, the time to start the assembly. On the contrary, Sylvia sees that Deculain is still not here. The great leader says that before the assembly begins, he would like to express humble gratitude to those who have responded to the summons while releasing a huge amount of mana. Sylvia thinks that the amount of mana being released is incredible. So, he must be Dzigdan, Burke's great elder. He was the closest candidate to becoming an archmage. He's a living legend who left the secular society of his own accord, so she realizes that she has to at least be on that level to be able to challenge becoming an archmage. The great leader, Dzigdan, mentions that after attendance, they will begin the assembly. He calls for Giltheon of the Iliad family, Ithensel of the Bran family, Baron of the Viored family, Ehelm of the Rewind family. They all are present. Next, he calls for Deculain of the Euclane family, but he still isn't here. Dzigdan says that if Deculain doesn't arrive before he call his name 3 times, he will assume that Deculain did not respond to the summons, and he will be eliminated from the 12 sorcerers. After hearing this, other sorcerers started gossiping. They say that the elimination of the Eucline will be a major event, as they were first summoned 200 years ago. Another person says that it won't be a major event. He blames Deculain's capabilities by saying that the current residing head Deculain's capabilities are much more lacking compared to those of his ancestors. Another person agrees with it, saying that there were often stories of how Deculain's talents did not amount to much. Meanwhile, Sylvia is thinking, just how has Deculain lived his life until now for there not to be a single person worried about him? It bothers her. The great leader calls for Euclane's residing head, Deculain, for the first. Then he calls for the second. Lastly, as he calls for the 3rd time, he has to stop midway, as he sees the door opening. After hearing the sound of the door, Sylvia and everyone looks behind. They see Deculain standing tall, confidence beaming throughout his appearance. He wipes the dirt off his shoulders and runs his fingers through his hair. His entry has a different vibe all to itself. Deculain von Grahan Eucline is here. The words come out of his mouth. Eucline's residing head has arrived, he says with a straight face. After Deculain's entry, the meeting began in silence and proceeded swiftly. The first agenda item was about the demon appearing in the Black Mountain. Ithensel says that the fact that a dark demon appeared on the map carries a more serious implication. They must issue directives to each magic faction or cooperate with the cathedral and dispatch mages to the suspected areas. With this, the first agenda passed smoothly. The principled head of the Bran family, Ithensel, voiced their opinion, and since no family objected, it passed without issue. The lady announces that they will take a small recess. Meanwhile, Deculain feels exhausting because he ran like crazy without resting to make it on time for the meeting. Now he has neither mana nor stamina left, and yet he still managed to maintain his composure. He thinks that Deculain's traits and personality truly are astonishingly persistent. He stands up, and as he walks near the exit, he meets Alan. Alan cries. He says sorry for being late. He informs that since he came late, he wasn't allowed to participate during the meeting. Deculain replies that he is fine, and there's nothing to worry about. He can no longer see this child as purely as before, because he now knows that Alan is hiding his true identity. But why? For what purpose? Deculain wonders. A famous quote from a movie in his original world comes to mind. He tells Alan to stay by his side from now on. The quote goes like this: "Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer." For now, keeping Alan close and observing is the safest choice. So that one day, Deculain will figure out exactly who Alan is. After some time, the meeting starts again with the next agenda. It concerns how the Mage Order will respond to the fallen clan. Deculaean thinks that it's a sensitive issue which won't go as smoothly as before. Vethin, head of the Biarad family, shouts, saying that the fallen clan is like a plague of cockroaches. They secretly lay their eggs in our society, multiplying and corrupting it from within. Ethansel, head of the Bran family, opposes Beten by asking, on what basis did he say that? Besides, there is no way to distinguish the fallen clan from other races. Two of them start to argue with each other. Deculaean thinks that it's expected that opinions will be divided from the start, since it's a sensitive issue. The argument goes forward. Vethin claims that the fallen clan is gathering among themselves, so there must be a leader among them. Ethansel tells Vethin that it's just a speculation of his. Their argument doesn't even stop her and keeps going. Vethin gets enraged, he shouts, asking, "Isn't that why countless mages died 60 years ago, because they were too soft?" Amidst all the chaos, Giltheon of the Iliad family, Sylvia's father, speaks up. He asks Deculaean, the head of the Euclane family, for his opinion in this matter because he has always been at the forefront of demon extermination. He is also known as a master exorcist. Wu Jin thinks that as someone from the modern era, he is well aware of these kinds of situations. Hatred born from a refusal to think always leads to unnecessary tragedies. But even aside from that, oppressing the fallen clan is never the right course of action, even if he cannot stop it. He needs to delay this as much as possible for the upcoming main quest. After all, the true common enemy of this world isn't the fallen clan. So he speaks his opinion, which grabs everyone's attention. He says that in the past, the fallen clan was indeed an enemy, however. If they examine the historical records one by one, it all stemmed from misunderstandings. Beten doesn't understand what misunderstandings Deculaean is talking about. Deculaean explains that in the Rodra witch incident, 237 years ago, Rodran was falsely accused of being a witch, and as a result, widespread persecution occurred, causing the fallen clan to shed much blood. They resisted, and from then on, blood continued to call for more blood. Moreover, he says that the incident from 60 years ago Vethin mentioned was purely political, because a mana stone mine was discovered in the fallen clan's land. Vethin opposes by saying that the word political is not something Euclane, the very family that killed the most fallen and took the mine, should be saying. He blames the fallen clan by saying that they are undeniably a bloodline tainted by dark magic. And as a clan that exterminates demons, Deculaean should know this. Deculaean states that Euclane's tradition is hunting demons, not killing the fallen clan. Vethin again shouts by saying that the fallen are the demons. "Can you take responsibility for those words?" Deculaean asks. He tells Vethin that he should not recklessly declare humans to be demons because the ones who say such things can become demons themselves. And so, the first session ended without a clear conclusion, and the issue was postponed to the next day. Giltheon, Sylvia's father, is worried about her. He says that it's a shame that they have to be apart again until the next meeting, because Burke has a strict one-person-per-room policy. "You'll be fine alone, right, my little one?" he asks. Sylvia says that at her age, kids don't share rooms with their dad, but he is still worried about her. He says that they will see you tomorrow. Lastly, he tells her that Burke has a high concentration of mana, so at night all sorts of mana phenomena occur. So she should make sure to read the hotel's guidelines carefully. Sylvia replies that she got it and she will just stay put, so that he doesn't have to worry. At night, Sylvia is looking at the guidelines. She says that these rules sound like something meant to scare little kids. So as long as she just sleep quietly, nothing will happen. She decides that she should just go to sleep. After some time, she wakes up from her slumber because she is thirsty. Upon waking up, she drinks water, but then she suddenly senses that the space changed into a hallway. Did I do something wrong? She wonders. She sees the guidelines again. It states that once you lie down in bed, refrain from waking until morning, or you may find yourself in a different place. I can't get out until morning if I'm in bed. Is that why I'm like this right now? She asks. She remembers that in the second hall, where she stayed a couple days ago, this kind of magical phenomena didn't happen. She guesses that things might have changed because she was near the assembly of elders, therefore making the mana more dense. She was too complacent that she thought it would be fine if she didn't leave her room. Now, she is trying to make herself calm and collected. But the next moment, she gets startled as she senses something behind her back. She runs towards it in a state of dilemma, thinking where she should go. She keeps running, reminding herself of the guild lines. It goes like this, that the Rosary Hotel is a one-story building. She shouldn't go up or down any stairs that may appear. If she encounters an open door while walking down the hallway, she shouldn't enter or look inside the room. She thinks that she shouldn't panic, since there's a door that can take her back. She starts to knock on every closed door, shouting for help, knowing wholeheartedly that in the guideline it was mentioned that if someone knocks on your door, nobody should respond or make any noise. So nobody will risk their lives and open the door. She desperately knocks all of the doors, while crying and hoping that anyone will open it. Lastly, she finds light amidst all the darkness, since Decollane opens the door, asking whether she has lost her way. He tells her to come in, and Sylvia gets inside, saying thank you. Upon getting inside the room and sitting in the bed, she firstly says that she is sorry that she got up from her bed and suddenly ended up in the hallway. Decollane explains that incredible magic phenomena always occurs within Burke. There are many spirits who have lost their consciousness to magic, so she should have read the rules properly, a never-changing appearance and an unwavering gaze. Is it because he was Decollane that he was able to open the door? She asks herself. Suddenly, a roaming ghost appears, and Decollane tells Sylvia to stay still. Meanwhile, he uses stone to kill the ghost. That was amazing. Were those roaming ghosts really killed? She asks. Decollane says that she shouldn't be shocked because it is simply a type of specialized magic that can only kill. He says that it is nothing to be proud of, as magic was not created with the purpose to kill. Sylvia is touched by Decollane's insight. Then Sylvia starts to show her skills. She firstly shows the flowing flame and gets praised for being correct. Then she shows lightning, metallization, goblin fire. Decollane praises her for each of the spells, but Sylvia pouts, thinking that he didn't even look at her and the spell while complimenting her. She decides that she should do something half-heartedly on purpose to see his reaction. She shows a magic spell and then tells him to give his judgment about it. Decollane says that she has done well. However, there is a bit of instability in the air magic circle she has embedded into the fire. She immediately asks about her weakness. Decollane replies that she should figure that out herself. Then she asks why he told Ephraim Luna about her weakness. He answers, saying that Luna also found her weakness herself. This reply makes Sylvia a little angry. Decollane tells Sylvia to cease her impatience because time is on her side. As long as she continues her dedication, she will improve. Moreover, he says that she can slowly work towards her goal, one step at a time, since she is one of 3 people who possesses such talent in this world. Oh my, such astounding talent. She is fated to become an archmage, so strong at such an age. She has a bright future. That's what she countlessly heard while growing up, insincere and stale compliments. But now that she is listening to Decollane's words, she doesn't know why his words feel so different from the others. After some time, Sylvia sleeps on Decollane's bed while he is still working. He senses an unknown energy coming from his window. He immediately goes outside to check, since his skill-wealthy magnate suddenly alerted him. He thinks that with the exception of the birched meeting, this mountain path is largely inaccessible, so he might just be able to get an item rarer than he thought he would. As he is walking, a roaming ghost follows him, and little by little it closes the distance between them. It tries to scare Decollane, but it doesn't work. Moreover, Decollane looks at it and asks, "Did he see an item possessing a lot of magic, perhaps?" The ghost speaks in a language unknown to all, and then runs away. What's up with him? Decollane wonders. Then he found what he was looking for. He was able to obtain material surpassing his expectations. A purified mana tree fragment. It is a fragment of a mana tree struck by lightning. This wood, naturally rich in mana, has been purified by the lightning strike, making it an excellent material. It is also known as special wood. Wu Jin thinks that after he came to this world, he trained and conducted research without rest, and he was in a slump because of Deculian's ordinary talent. He realizes that if he makes a wand out of this, he might just be able to grow his power faster. This is far greater of a gain than he thought. After that, the reopened meeting progressed with a strange atmosphere. Vethin is still firm and adamant with his opinion. He says that it's true. The fallen clan have the blood of demons flowing in them, so then isn't that enough to say they're demons? Deculian shouts, saying that Vathan's perception is ridiculous. If you add salt to water, do you call that water salt instead? He asks. The heated discussion between Deculian and Vethin made the many sorcerer attendees flustered. Meanwhile, everyone is doubting Deculian. They are saying Deculian is siding with the enemy. Giltheon wonders just what picture Deculian is trying to paint here and what is he scheming. Sylvia is thinking that she is sure that everyone, just like her father, is thinking that Deculian has an ulterior motive because he's siding with the enemy. But according to her, they're all wrong since Deculian is just stating the obvious. Then the great leader speaks up, telling them to stop. He says that a conclusion will not be devised at this rate. The matter regarding the blood shrouds will be added to the next meeting. And now they should discuss the next thing on the agenda, unlike the blood shrouds, meaning the matter regarding the fallen clan. The other matters' discussions have progressed quickly, and the meeting came to a close after several days. At the meeting's end, Vethin angrily and intentionally bumps into Deculian while leaving the meeting room. While Deculian did wish for this outcome for the sake of the main quest in the future, but in order to do that, he has become estranged with more people, it seems. The next day at the Burke shopping district, Deculian is here to make a wand. He decides that he must create a wand here in Burke before leaving. What materials would be best to use when making a wand out of a magical tree, he wonders. As he is thinking about it, Alan calls him. Professor! Professor! While pointing his finger, Alan says that the person over there is his hero. Because of that person, he was able to come here safely. Deculian sees that the person Alan is talking about is Lilia Primian, Vice Chief of the Security Bureau. After that, they decided to treat Lilia Primian to a meal. It was to repay her for bringing Alan here safely. She thanks Deculian for treating her to a meal. She says that she knows it's rude of her to bring this up here, but she informs him that the investigation has concluded. What happened to the escort guard, Varen? Deculian asks. She replies that Varen died because of an ambush. As they are eating their meal, Lilia thinks just what exactly is different about Deculian as Lockhart mentioned. Previously, under direct Imperial order at the Imperium Security Bureau, Lilia told Lockhart that he will be sent to the most notorious prison, named Lacordac. It's the most obvious punishment, considering he has killed innocent mages. Do you have anything to say? She asked. She sees that Lockhart is a person who is only tight-lipped in interrogation. Then she told him to activate his power. Lockhart smiles and activated his power, and after seeing this, Lilia revealed her true identity. She calls him an idiot. She says that she told him to not be so rash, yet why did you do something that would negatively affect our kind? She asks. She says that she did think of killing Lockhart. If it's revealed that he is one of them, then the public opinion will put pressure on her. Do you think leeching off of this empire would be possible if you do that? Lockhart asks. Lilia replies that it's possible as long as they are not exposed, since their kind is seen as different immediately upon birth. Lockhart states that it's just because they are born with demonic-like abilities that people are simply scared of that. Then she tells him to shut up, because the blood shrouds aren't the only ones who are born with abilities, revealing the fact that they are the blood shrouds in hiding. Lilia also asks him, why did he provoke Deculean, since they are already keeping an eye on the Eucleans? Lockhart questions whether they are observing the Euclean in order to kill the bloodline of Euclean. Lilia says that they are currently just observing, but if Deculean keeps causing trouble, they don't have a reason to not kill him. Throughout their conversation, for the first time Lockhart speaks with such clarity. He tells her not to kill Deculean because he's a true noble. There's no need to kill him. Lilia asks, how can't Deculean be a true noble? That's complete bullshit, since she has a tub filled to the brim with crimes Deculean has committed. Lockhart remembers the grace of Deculean, affirming that the blood shrouds weren't demons, but humans and his eyes, which portrayed no doubts and only righteousness. Lockhart thinks that if there were plenty of nobles like him in this world, then they would be able to live alongside everybody else. He states that Deculean didn't kill him even though Deculean knew he was a blood shroud, which piqued Lilia's attention. She says that Lockhart should be aware that it was the Euclean's ancestors who stood at the forefront of slaughtering and oppressing the blood shrouds. Lockhart replies that he is well aware of that. However, if they treat the descendants of said ancestors like this, they are just agreeing with their notion of them being demons. For how long do you think you can sit in a position of power without getting caught? Lockhart questions. Lilia replies, saying her entire life. Because there's no way they can differentiate between blood shrouds and humans with just appearance and blood. Lockhart mentions that there is also a specific food that they can't eat, but humans can. Lilia replies that then she should just simply avoid eating it. Anyway, they move on to the main topic. Lilia mentions that the Emperor's health isn't great, someone new will soon be appointed, and they have to observe how they'll respond to the blood shrouds. Until then, they are staying quiet. Lilia tells Lockhart to lay low in the prison, Licordac, and that was their last conversation. Back to the present, she is still thinking, how can Deculean be a real noble? As far as she sees it, he is just the same annoying guy. Along with the smell of alcohol, a person named Ilhelm appears. Deculean says that he doesn't have anything to talk with Ilhelm. On the contrary, Ilhelm says that he has something that he wanna hear from Deculean, something from that dark soul of his. At the same time, at the order of Freyheim, the news that Veron has died during the mission reaches Julie's ears, which makes her utterly shocked. Regaining her composure, she tells the knight to get ready right away, since she is determined to get an explanation as soon as Deculean returns.